I got it up on here. Nothing.
Yet. It's definitely picking us up.
Yes.
I see it.
Oh.
That's definitely the mics that it's picking up. Hold on. Look at this. Broadcast here. Audio monitoring.
There we go. We got it.
Okay.
Yo. Yo. There we go.
It's a little, it's behind, but it sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. I want to hear it. Okay. It's definitely using those. I think we might be too hot on those mics.
Yo. Yo. There we go.
Cool. All right.
We're good.
It's behind, but it sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear it. It's definitely using those. I think we might be too hot on those mics.
What?
Behind, but it sounds good. No. I don't want to do that.
Hey. Hi.
I want to see what it's.
Hey. Hi.
Look at your phone. I want to see it on the phone. Let me see. Like, do full screen.
There go full screen.
God damn it. There you go.
That's the Facebook feed.
That's fine.
Okay. That's the Facebook feed.
There's a lot of.
It's because it's doing this.
Oh, yeah. But it's not. That's weird. Why? It's so delayed. There's no. It's picking this up into here like a loop.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we're on. So, hi, everybody. Hi, everybody.
I don't think anybody's on, but hey.
Oh, let's. I probably should. Since we're.
Your mic's off too.
I don't need this anymore.
No. We're going to go ahead and pass on that.
We need.
Beverages.
Yes, but before that, hold on. We need to. You made me forget. God damn it. There's something I gotta do. Hold on. I just had it in my head and you said beverages and now I can't think of anything else. Oh, I need to find the links and post them on our Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
So people can see them.
Yes.
I need the actual link. So I guess where would I find that?
Yes. What's wrong?
I'm trying to figure out where I can find that. If I can find that on here, I'm gonna have to go to each app and post it. I'll probably use post. Go ahead. Yeah, you do it. It's fine.
Guys, I promise we're starting. If anybody's on listening. Nobody's listening. So we're good.
Hey, how's it going?
We're a train wreck.
Yeah, kind of today. Let's see here. All right. I'll need this phone later. Normally, I wouldn't keep it around, but there's going to be a reason to have it later.
Is there?
Maybe.
Oh, okay.
You'll see. All right.
You gonna call someone that cares?
Listen, don't go giving it away. I don't know if anybody's out there, if anybody's listening.
I think it's just us.
If anybody is, tell us how we sound, level wise, all that stuff. If it's loud enough, not loud enough, that would be great. Have it later. What are you doing? What was that?
I was trying to turn it down.
How about just kill it?
I'm trying to get to where I can communicate with people. Come on, man. Got to be one with the team.
Well, we can see if somebody messages us from there. We don't need to.
I ain't got my glasses on, fool.
We need a bigger TV. Maybe we hook it to that thing.
We could.
We wouldn't be able to see it that well.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
What you got there?
Oh, I need to turn the dings off on this thing.
Really? You're going to give me a hard time?
But we're not live or anything. I'm just saying, like, you're
We're
streaming
live.
the thing. Well, we are, but we're not, like, recording or anything.
We are?
Not yet. Remember when you accidentally fat fingered the button
yeah.
maybe earlier, you clown?
Yeah.
All right.
Matty O's on.
Let's go.
What up?
Let's go. My boy. It's been so long since we've done this that I haven't even talked about how I ran into you in a certain West Coast city in the Pacific
You
time
usually
zone.
got people talking. See, you can't see that shit up there. You don't see any of that.
Why isn't it there?
Who's Def Code? Def Code said levels are fine, lots of reverb.
Lots of
Oh,
reverb.
we didn't put up we got sound deadening stuff that we haven't put up in the studio.
That's part of it. We have
Thanks for the heads up, though.
Yeah, Def Code is cool. He's a good dude. Met him at Video Game Summit. Big Zelda, curator of information.
Really?
Yeah, big time. Nice guy. He actually, if he's still listening, and I hope you are, thank you for my Secret Santa gift from the Collector's Quest podcast. Secret Santa.
Oh, yeah,
he
that
was
was
the
cool.
one
I
that
got
gave it
to
to me.
hang out on that
Got
one.
Spirit Fair and Hades. Yeah,
Yeah,
you were
that
here
was
for
good.
that.
That was a good setup.
That was fun. You missed a good time. So,
Looks like the one and only Bobby is on.
yeah, wonderful.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Hi, everybody. No, you can't. I'm recording. You guys, you're giving us all grief. Yeah, I can't see any of this up on the screen. We'll figure out why we can't see it, but it's good to know. Maybe we need like a little iPad with it here or something.
Oh, yeah.
I have one.
Why don't you give me a hard time about
Why don't I go get it? Smart ass.
If you want to.
Well, we haven't started recording yet, so I will.
You can. You can do whatever you like. I'm going to keep talking to everybody on here.
Tell them I said.
I'm not telling anybody you said hey.
Oh, you know what?
Oh, I did now.
You might actually get the house. Yeah, it is. That's okay.
Oh, trash.
Yeah. What else? All right. Let's get this show on the road.
I think we need to. It's been months.
Too many. All right.
Months.
You ready?
Months. I don't know if anybody's on Facebook, though.
I'm hitting record.
Okay.
I don't care if they are or
Because
not.
that's just the Twitch
Well,
one.
I switched. That's where I shared it on our Instagram.
Oh, it was for Twitch, right?
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
Okay. You ready? I'm hitting record.
I'm ready to go home.
Okay, so we're actually recording now. Don't do that yet. I'm not ready. I wasn't ready, man. Golly. You suck.
That's what happens when I'm too close.
Yeah,
to
you're too close to this thing now. You got all the buttons. You're kind of pissing me off a little bit. They're on your side. All right, we ready to start the show? It is very reverby. We got to kill that. I'm going to get some acoustic deadening stuff. I actually have some, but we're in a much bigger room now.
Bag of potato chips
So-
offset. Should we eat those with the reverb?
I'm trying to think of how we could do it. We'll have to figure it out. There's a lot of echo in here right now,
There is.
but that's okay. We'll get it.
Echo.
Are you getting us drinks?
It's like Mr. Deeds. Am I getting you drinks? Am I the fucking bartender?
You asked me earlier, and I was busy trying to get all
Yeah,
this
you
shit
were
set up.
bitching.
I wasn't bitching. I was trying to help.
Just hit play.
Yes, sir. Okay, you ready?
Yes. I'm going to get beer.
Well, wait.
Go ahead.
Just kidding. We're back. It's just me now. I've cut Jay. If you're watching the live stream, he's no longer with the show. I'm going to do the show with this chair. So Yeah. You really picked the worst possible time to leave. You're supposed to be the guy I bounce stuff off of during the intro. And this is what we look like, a bunch of clowns. We've been gone for 2 months, and then we look like this. Oh, and we are very echoey. I'm sorry for that. We're gonna have to work on that. So
I see deep fried something on the list there. I need to know what that is. Deep fried what? Deep fried pickle what? Oh.
can we listen?
Hey, Robbie and I are having a
Hold on.
We're having a conversation.
No, listen. Okay.
All right.
This is the podcast that gets edited and put up. So we're recording it now. So if we can get through who we are and all that stuff.
Even better, because you can edit all that out.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to. So welcome back to the Lost Joystick Network.
That's not twist stuff.
We try again. Yeah. You ready? Are you ready to just be quiet for 5 fucking seconds?
Sure.
Okay. Go ahead. Open your bottle. That doesn't help. They still heard it. Okay. I think Jay's already drunk, everybody. Okay. So, I'm going to cut your mic so many times tonight. All right. One more time. Welcome back to the Lost Joystick Network, episode 16. My name is Mike, your host, joined as always by my co-host, Jay. Jay, say hello. I cut Jay's mic so he couldn't say anything. Okay, you're back now. Go.
I can talk now?
No. Go ahead.
I don't really have anything to say. Huh?
Perfect. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for everybody that's in the chat. We actually went and publicized the fact that we are on streaming. We're on Twitch, Facebook Live, and YouTube. We have a number of people in the chat.
I need to apologize. I need to apologize because you just read, man.
You're good.
No, I shouldn't have called him that. I feel bad.
Leave. Just, can we?
I feel bad. He's a good guy. I'm sorry I called you.
Can we please talk about what's on the paper for 5 seconds?
Sure.
You haven't done that once.
Okay.
Not one time.
The best part is the last guy.
There. It's turned over. Stop looking at the chat. Let's get to the intro first, for the love of God. I'm trying to talk about. Thank you for everybody being in the chat. And you want to talk about all the things that are going on in there. I haven't even gotten to that yet.
Thank you everyone for being on the chat.
You have to put the ball on the tee before you hit it. Especially you. Anyway, I'm sorry I'm being a jerk.
No, you're actually funny. I don't know why we haven't been on for.
We're back.
Yeah, we're back.
Well, I can give you a reason or two. So
I'm one.
Yeah, there's been a number of reasons why. A lot of things changed, but number one, you may notice that my voice sounds a little odd. I've been ill. I have not had COVID. I have been tested. Absolutely came back negative. When I get like a sinus infection, you got to stop looking at it. You can't look at it. I wind up getting bronchitis every time, and it just takes my voice. So I've been slowly getting that back, but it all started around Thanksgiving, and now I'm finally getting back to the point where I can talk again, and it's nice. So,
you sounded rough. You sounded like an old lady, like the first couple of days.
And then at one point, I sounded like a wacky radio FM DJ with the big deep voice. It was awesome. I wish I could have kept that voice.
But why did you
call me on my cell phone?
Oh, that was awesome.
John was just calling in. I probably should mute the Bluetooth there on my phone.
You should have just answered it.
I think I did.
Did you? Hi, John.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear us. Hi, John.
Hello. Hold on.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
How's it going?
Pretty good, man. No one was talking to me, so I figured I'd call in.
Well, guess what? You're live.
I'm not allowed to look at the chat. I got in trouble.
You're live on the stream. My phone is connected to the Roadcaster, which in turn means that you're connected to the Roadcaster, which means you're connected to the internet. So say hello.
Hello, everyone. Deep fried pickle Pringles, they're really good. I think they're an exclusive to DG. I don't know what that is because, sorry.
Let me give you a proper introduction. This is John.
Oh, yeah, this is Robbie. Oh, sorry.
This is John
Oh
Young.
man, I said Robbie. I didn't mean to. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
It's Retro Game Enthusiast. This is John.
I know, but Bobby was mad.
It said
I called
John
him
Young right
Robbie.
on the phone when it rang.
I know that was John.
That-
You didn't hear his
I,
clip about me calling him Robbie?
I'm doing my best to make sure that you can't edit this out.
Oh, I do. I do.
Don't-
That's the story of my life.
I'm a wizard. Don't worry about that. I'll if I don't want you in there, I'll get you out. Don't you worry.
Wow.
You too, buddy.
Well,
I'll be doing both
Whoa.
voices. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, how are you, John?
all right.
Unexpected
Pretty good,
call-in
yeah.
guest, actually.
Yeah. Mostly unpacked Kansas City. Everybody knows me, so obviously they know what I'm doing. So, yeah, good time.
Yep.
It's o'clock. It's close to bedtime.
Yep. John just moved from Fort Wayne to Kansas City, Missouri. It has been well documented on Instagram and under his account, again, Retro Game Enthusiast. So,
Go Chiefs.
yeah,
Poorly documented.
he doesn't give a crap.
Poorly
I
documented.
know he likes the sports ball.
Well, I'm trying to be as nice as I can.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Sports ball's happening right now in Kansas City.
See, there you go.
You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking we just turn this into a call-in episode. Like, John's called. Mattio, you've got my number. Give me a call. I'm going to just go put it in the chat. You guys can all call me. Robbie's got my number. We might talk to him later. Anybody wants to call in? Call in, man. Let's go. Who cares?
All right.
Like, it's already off the rails. This is just take, you can rip this right in half and we're good. No, anyway, I probably will need to cut you loose here so we can do the show at some point.
Yeah. You guys got, I'm going to let you go, but good chatting with everyone, and, enjoy the rest of the show. I'm sure I will.
Hi,
Sounds
John.
good. Talk to you soon,
Bye,
bud.
John.
Bye. John Young, everybody, Retro Game Enthusiast on Instagram.
a good
See, I
guy.
still got a
Good
little
people.
bit.
Good people.
John's an excellent fellow.
Yes.
So anyway, back to
We're back.
being back.
We're back. It's been
got-
months. And this is what happens when we take months off.
Another-
We were so organized before we took like 2 months off.
I'm good. You keep derailing us, and then John calls in.
Oh, it's my fault you're derailed.
It is, yes. I can't wait till you hear this.
You got Drake over there playing while John's calling.
It's because he used to call me on my cell phone.
Drake's terrible.
It's
Still terrible.
It's topical humor. Don't look at me like that. Anyway, so
So how was your week? Actually, shouldn't it be how was our months?
how were your 2 months? They were good. Yeah, I started out in Las Vegas. Last thing I talked about before we were on last was we were going to go to Vegas, and I did. I was there for my friend's wedding who lives out there.
Oh yeah.
I called literally the day before I left town, which was on a Tuesday. I left on a Wednesday, and I was talking to Mattio about something through Instagram and mentioned that I was like, hey, I'm going to be in Vegas. I'm going to go to Retro City Games, I think is what it is out there. And he was like, wait, when? And I said, I leave tomorrow. And he goes, well, how long? And I said, for a week. Oh, well, I'll be there from Friday to Monday.
What day did you fly in?
Wednesday to Wednesday. So, yeah. So I
So
got
you
a
was
chance-
right in the heart of your trip.
Yep, I got a chance to see him. We met downtown, or actually downstairs in the at Treasure Island. That's where I was staying. So got to see Mattio, and we were trying to get to a game store together, but we never crossed paths. So yeah, it worked out though. It was
Hey.
good.
Up here.
Yes, see what it's
here.
like. Do you see? See what it's like now?
I'm just doing it because I can't look.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
Well, I'm going to mute this just in case somebody does actually call in. So somebody calls the phone, and if they do, that's fine. Go for it. Say hey. But anyway, while I'll talk about some of the things I picked up while I was out there. In our collecting section there. But and then we have the holidays, right? So we
Yeah.
have Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's and all that garbage.
All that garbage.
It was actually great. I had a good time.
So we had some cool stuff going on though. I mean, Christmas and Thanksgiving was pretty low key.
Yeah.
We kind of going back to your Secret Santa thing.
Yeah.
So we got to hang out and talk to the guys from Collector's Quest. Mike's going to choke and cough for a little bit because he's still struggling.
When I cough, don't talk because I have to edit
Oh,
that
you
out.
edit that
I'm gonna
out.
have to get it out of there, so don't make it like part of the thing. I'm sorry. I'm dying. Part of the reason we haven't done this, folks.
Yes. So he didn't do this because he was he'd left out one significant point to that. You notice he's wearing a Michigan hoodie. He actually got to go to the Big Ten championship game?
Again, we can't. We're going to have to do all that over.
I know.
Sorry.
Okay.
So one of the reasons that Mike is kind of hoarse is because he went to the Big Ten championship game and literally yelled his lungs out.
That was a month ago now.
Yeah, but you haven't been right.
But that's not why now.
Oh well.
That was because of the cough. Like I was ill just prior to that game. Michigan, I don't know if you guys follow football, but they destroyed Ohio State, won the Big Ten East, and then went to the Big Ten championship game, which I attended in Indianapolis.
Yes. We won't talk past that though.
No, we won't get any further than that. But I did lose my voice at that game. But that was a month ago and has nothing to do with what is happening to me right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, anywho.
Yeah, had a good Christmas.
I haven't. It's been fine all day. Till now.
Okay.
Of course, now, because we're talking.
I know.
You just need more beer.
Go on.
Okay.
No,
Just
go
making
on.
Sure we're
You're
good.
good.
I'm going to do most of the talking, I think.
No, it'll be fine. It's just,
Okay.
it comes and goes, and now it's gone.
All right.
So,
But yeah, holidays were, overall, were pretty uneventful, I'd say. I don't know about you.
yeah, other than the chronic cough,
Yes.
I've been fine.
So,
Had a great time. Spent some time with my son. That was really, I had the time off between Christmas and New Year's, so I enjoyed that. And
I did too, which was nice.
Yeah, well,
That's another story for another day.
unexpectedly, yes,
Yes,
you wound up
another
with
story for another day.
some extra free time.
Yes.
But we're rectifying that, which also is probably going to help long term with the stability of the podcast
Mm-hmm.
because Jay had gotten a new job at one point and it was a really odd schedule that made it difficult for us to get time to do this. So now I don't think that's going to be a problem.
We can add that onto our list of excuses why we haven't done
Let's put it on the list. Why not?
because we're lazy.
One thing I did do during the holidays is I watched 8-Bit Christmas with Neil Patrick Harris, David Cross, and a cavalcade of other people whose names I don't know.
I can't say I've ever seen it.
It's a new movie.
Oh.
And it's basically a ripoff of Christmas Story, but about a Nintendo in like 1987. About getting a Nintendo for Christmas in 1987.
Sounds like a pretty good movie.
That was literally me at that age, right?
Yeah.
So it was very, and that's kind of what happened to me too. So it was, kind of hit home with me, resonated because of the subject matter. But anyway,
Speaking of movies, you know what I'd like to see? We talked about, we were talking about.
Geely,
No. I want to see Rarity.
I
I don't think it's real.
I'm sure
I'm joking.
I'm sure it's out in Uganda or I don't know. We're still waiting for that movie
Yes.
to come out that Robbie had come on and talked about.
Yes.
And they've done like screenings of it, but whatever. So
Yes.
yeah. And then I've actually been playing some video games. So I started during the holidays, usually when I kind of get settled in and like play. That's when I okay, I'm gonna sit down and like play this game or do this or do that. So one of the things I got for Christmas was a God of War PS4. Right? It was just like a loose one. I got it from Kyle over at Retro. And I've had in multiple PS4s. I kind of get them, play the games I want, and then get rid of it because I don't really want it. I don't need it for anything other than maybe those games. I don't play a ton of modern games, but when I do, it's like all in.
Yeah.
And right now I'm all in on The Last of Us Part 2.
No.
All in.
I'm tired of hearing about that game.
But guess what I found yesterday?
What?
You don't even know this. So I'm all in on that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've been playing it. I'm to the point now where I've met up with this person I've been chasing, but she's supposed to help me find another person. I won't spoil any of it.
His character in the game.
Most people already know. I was actually, the shocking part is there are like big spoilers about this game. I've avoided them since the game was released. I didn't know anything. I had played the first one and didn't know anything about the second one. And it's been a super enjoyable experience. It's a frustrating game because it's like roguelike. You have to like go and try and solve a puzzle. And if you get killed, you have to just do it again from a stop point kind of thing, like a checkpoint. But I really have enjoyed it. But so I was out with yesterday with Amy getting her daughter from dance, and we had to go over to Meijer. So whenever I'm at Meijer, I always go to the electronics section and just kind of peruse. Guess what? Guess what I walked up to?
The Last of Us walkthrough?
No, that would have been useful, but no.
Oh.
An Xbox Series X.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. That was the look on my face when I saw it too. I was like, oh my God. And then like Amy was standing like looking at me like this. She was like, what the hell's going on? She doesn't know what it is.
Yeah.
The guy that worked there in the electronics store walks up behind me. He's like, pretty surprising, huh? And he said, I don't remember exactly what he said, but he kind of alluded to the fact like, wow, yeah, we have one. And I was like, yeah, I'm okay. I'll take it. And Amy's just sitting there like, what's happening? Are you buying a $500 video game console? I'm like,
Yep.
yeah, I don't think I can not buy it. So yeah, I bought an Xbox One Series X or Xbox Series X yesterday and got it all set up and have played nothing on it yet because I didn't get it set up till last night. And then now I've come here and been here all day.
So you're going to play The Last of Us on that?
You can't. It's a Sony PS4 and PS5 exclusive.
Whatever. Make it work.
I'll fake it.
Okay.
Okay.
You could just said yes.
Is that good enough? Yeah, sure, I will. Why not? Let's take two. You ready? Let's use take two.
No, we're good.
Anyway, so that's a little bit about what we've been up to. I've been up to for the last 2 months. You want to? You got anything? Or you want to
No,
go?
pretty boring. Did Thanksgiving. We hosted Christmas for the first time. Actually, kind of a cool thing, and this kind of ties into the collecting part because I never have anything video game wise to collect. But we decided to host Christmas Eve for the first time. What are you doing?
I'm just
At
eyeballing the. If you're watching on the live stream, I'm
I don't know what he's
creeping
doing.
behind the mic.
You're insane.
Go.
Okay, so I really, you're worse than me.
Well, you have to look at the chat occasionally. You can't leave it up and constantly do it.
That's what I was trying to do.
But no, it wasn't. You were reading it the whole time.
I was.
Defcode said he found out the 8-bit Christmas was set in his hometown, and he grew up in a smallish 26,000 person town. And the writer was from there as well. It was from a suburb of Chicago. I forget which one. A story. I don't remember. Yeah, but that's interesting.
I bet he knows since it was in his town.
Oh, Matteo says the video went black. Is that everybody having that problem?
Oh,
Batavia, Illinois.
there you go.
Thank you. What is? I'll ask you later. Thank you.
Matteo, are you still on dial? Are you still using dial-up in a home, buddy?
He has a dedicated DSL line. He says video's good from Defcode does. Thank you, sir.
So that's
So yes,
yeah, okay.
he lives.
Matteo.
He's got like an ISDN line or something, probably. Maybe a T1. We'll talk about T1s in a minute.
Well, Could be
Anyway,
worse. I could keep calling John Robbie.
I guess it's me. He says, "Yep, it is. It was
is
you,
you.
Matt." All right, we're gonna put chat
Okay,
down.
yeah,
You got to
fuck that.
kind of just like poke in.
Okay,
So I'm glad we did. But anyway,
but yeah, so we decided to host Christmas with my wife's family for the first time at our house, and doing that, we were talking, and I was chatting with my cousin-in-law. It's my wife's cousin, and when we were just talking about collecting records. I brought that up because I'm a dork, and she says, "Oh, I got this old stereo at home. Would you want it?" I don't want it, and I'm gonna like my dad told me to throw it away, and it was his. And I'm like, sure, what is it? And she's like, it's a Pioneer silver thing. And she's like, it's okay, but it's got the glasses cracked a little bit. And I was like, yeah, sure. So she goes home and takes pictures of it and sends it to me like the next day. And it's a SX 850, which everybody knows if they listen to this, that I was gifted an SX 1250 and a record player. So at this point now I have 2 of the receivers from that series that I've gotten for free 99.
I'm a pretty lucky guy in life, but like you just fall ass backwards until like that is it. Like for those who don't know much about this stuff, there are a couple of lines of like the golden era of vintage hi-fi, and the Pioneer 50 series is like one of those. And the 850 is a very nice version. It's like an 85 watt per channel, RMS, like rated, whatever. The 1250, the other one that you got from your mom that she kept for 45 years, is like 165 watts per channel and is, worth like a small late model sedan, money wise. Now, one of the things we didn't bring up, and I don't want to like bore our listeners, but we spent some of the time over the break as well refurbishing it. So recapping and putting some new transistors. We're going to bias it and all that stuff. I think that that we're like to the finish line of getting that thing completely restored, and it's going to be sweet when it's done. So because I got one myself, and we're doing that one next. You're doing it. So anyway, enough about all that. Nobody wants to hear us talk about vintage audio, but that is a great story.
Yes.
And you keep falling ass backwards into this stuff. Yes. So just keep me in mind the next time. When the 750 or the 950 shows up, you let me know.
I'm waiting to get the whole set.
You're going to have the tower?
Yeah, like it's a fucking deck of cards or some shit.
Well, they get smaller as they get smaller physically.
Yes.
So that'd be pretty cool to have like almost like a Wi-Fi looking.
That would be cool.
And moving on.
Yes.
So
we talked about The Last of Us. Talked about it, but Yeah, we talked about all that. So there's only one thing left to do.
Gimme all you got.
Just made me think. I leaned back while we were doing that, and it made me. I get talking to the mic.
That's better.
But I was leaning back, and it made me think about when we were over working on the 1250 the other day at your place, and we were sitting in office chairs, and I leaned back, and I thought it was locked, and it wasn't, or it was barely, and I almost went.
You leaning into the back of an office recliner chair. We're not exactly the thinnest dudes in the world. And I heard this pop, and I'm like, well, he's either landed flat on his back or broke something.
Yes,
and I look over, and you're
oh
like,
my God.
Oh, God. Like the lock had not snapped, it just slipped off, and it just like was like, pow. So anyway.
That was a good time.
So collecting update. You're collecting 50 series vintage Pioneer receivers.
Yep,
Okay,
I
that's
got
cool.
number 2 out of 5.
No, there's more than 5, buddy. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12.
Oh,
You only have 2 of the 10, I think, or whatever it is.
you don't know what other ones I found?
2 of the 8. Yes, I do.
Oh, yeah,
It's none.
yeah, that's true.
It's the 0-50. Anyway, so anything else? You got some stuff for Christmas?
I did. I got a couple good records. One thing I got that was pretty cool. You got me 2 of them. My son Deegan got me 1 of them. He has 3 albums out. Country guy. I don't like country.
Me either.
I love this dude.
Me too.
I 100% recommend any of the 4 people that are listening to get a copy of this man's album. Mike's actually got a copy of the record, one of his records, or all 3 of them. He's got all 3. So we'll show them real quick. But this guy is unbelievably good. And like I said, I don't like country. And this
I feel like we're on
giant
Fallon.
piece of man. Actually, he's going to be on Fallon on the 11th.
I know. That's why
His
I said
name's
that.
Joshua Ray Walker.
If I can get the glare off there from our lights. There we go.
Dude is unreal.
He is
so
a
good.
house of a human being.
He is a large, handsome man.
And I am 100% the last person that likes country music. But let's be honest, folks. How can you not like someone who has this outfit, custom, if I can get that, there we go, that he's got a chandelier in the shot, but refused to be upstaged by the chandelier and decided to have a custom coat that looks like a chandelier made. Look at that. Look at that glorious bastard. Joshua Ray Walker.
But again, I would absolutely recommend it. He's fantastic. So, not like I said, I'm not a big country fan, but I do enjoy him. Oh yeah, he needs to go. Mario's going to get on the back burner for tonight.
For tonight.
So, and he is going to be on Jimmy Fallon. So if you don't want to buy his record, at least go on Jimmy Fallon. Everybody has streaming services nowadays. Get off your dead ass and listen to him for 5 minutes. It's worth it.
Dead ass.
Yes, dead ass.
Dead ass. Get off your dead ass.
Yes, get off your dead ass
Anyway.
and listen to it. But I got that. I got, I ordered Curtis Harding, Face Your Fears. Oh, no.
I'll get it.
They fell. I heard that. He's a Saginaw native. But I got that. And that's about it. Oh, my daughter got me Smells Like Teen Spirit on vinyl.
Never mind.
Or never mind. I don't know why I say Smells Like Teen Spirit all the time.
Because you're a poser.
I am. It's that Nirvana with the David Grohl guy
Nirvana.
that plays in the Fuji Fighters.
Shut up, poser.
Yep.
Anything else?
No.
Cool.
Pretty boring. I'm sure you got all kinds of fancy stuff.
Let me take a drink and we'll talk all about it.
All right.
I got 2 months to get caught up on. And this is just like, it's not even that much really when it comes down to it. But man, there's some stuff in here.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and get comfortable.
So I went to Retro City Games when I was in Las Vegas. I believe, I'd have to go look at the owner's name. Met the owner while I was out there. I want to say it was Brandon. I can't remember. I think it was Brandon. Very nice guy. Got to talk to him for a little bit. And while I was out there, I picked up Tag and Dragon loose for the NES, which is an unlicensed Color Dreams game. Never see that. And I grabbed a couple Turbo games. So I grabbed their extra Turbo CDs. I grabbed Ease 3 and Valis 2. So that was pretty much it. Oh, I also grabbed Psycho Fox for Robbie.
I'm an idiot because when you said Yeast 3, I thought you said these 3. That's why I looked down at the paper. I'm like, okay, what 3? Because people can't see that.
Yeah, Ease.
Yeah, my bad.
It's a retro game podcast. I think they know what Ease is. You, however, don't seem to, poser.
Nope. Oh, shit.
God, I've been outed. Shit. But I also grabbed Psycho Fox for Robbie on Sega Master System. They had gotten a bunch of really nice Sega Master System games in, and he was sending me pictures, and I actually called him while I was there, and the dude gave us a good deal, really nice guy. And but yeah, so
What's the name of that place?
Retro City Games, and it's actually right in like Paradise, Green Valley area, right by where my friend lives. My friend Dom, who got married, that's the store he goes to get the games for his son. I was
nice.
like, oh, cool, because it's actually a really great shop. They had so much I wanted. They had a Pioneer a Laser Interactive, which is the Laserdisc player that you could have the plugins for the Sega CD and Genesis and all that, and Turbo. But I'm like, I can't get this home. I would not want to ship it. I would have to drive it home. They had so many cool things in that store that I wanted that I was just like,
We should do a road trip this summer to Vegas.
okay. You don't have to ask me twice. I'm in. Let's go.
Do it.
Get Maddie. We'll pick Maddie up on the way. It's right there on the way. If he meets us like in Chicago, we could just go straight
we
west.
could hit Chicago, and then we can hit Kansas City and hit John, or pick up John.
Yeah,
and
don't
then
hit
we can
him.
go. We'll get a van.
We'll go on a video game tour.
Ooh.
Maybe they'll get stadium
We could
events, and I can go there
document this
and
shit.
buy it.
We could document
We,
this.
we could. It would be boring as hell.
What does everybody think? LJN documentary in the summer.
Nobody wants that.
Coming summer
only people-
2022.
Coming in summer of 2022. See, I don't have the voice anymore. I loved that voice. It was so good. I would just sit there and do stuff like lock it in and rip the knob off. And like, it sounded amazing, but now
Sounds
it's
pretty good still.
it's okay now, but it was so much better. Anyway, so got
We're going to
that.
start our documentary. But you got that. That
Correct.
means yes.
Yes, the LJN documentary. We'll start that. That's what people want.
Yes.
I've been told that's what they want by you just now.
Do you think Jerry would be in it, or would we have to get somebody to portray Jerry in it?
We'd have to get somebody. No, I'm not going to say what
Leave
I
it
was
alone.
going to say.
Leave it alone.
I'm just going to leave it.
Leave it alone.
I don't know who would get.
We love you, Jerry.
We absolutely do. He knows that. All right. Got some stuff from Retro Replayed, our buddy Kyle. Got some cool stuff, and he got a little PS1 lot. So I went over there and grabbed a few of those at one point. Legend of Legaia, Dragon Valor, Vandal Hearts, and Threads of Fate. Just, RPG, action RPG, all that stuff. The stuff you just don't see that much anymore, especially on PS1. It's just getting harder and harder to find. And then I kind of wanted to I don't think I can. I'm going to save it for last. So anyway,
We're going to come back to the
we're
rest
going
of
to
your
come back to
collecting
that.
stuff.
Yeah, because I also got Astel from Saturn, from that
I
same
did
day.
not touch you there.
Listen,
Oh,
it's the game. It's a platformer.
Astel.
That's a terrible joke. We need the rim shot on here.
We do.
I got to get one. Anyway,
You could just,
yeah,
that
well,
helps too.
that does suck.
That was a bad joke.
But I went over to Disc Replay and I picked up. Actually, that's incorrect. My notes are wrong here. I got Pitfall for the Sega CD, but I got it from Harrison over at Media. He got that from there. And then,
Put the notes in wrong. For your own notes are
yep,
wrong.
that's right. I have no one to blame but myself. I take full accountability.
Yeah, I can't work with you.
I
I can't
got-
work with this guy.
I got Space Harrier 2 for the Genesis, complete, really nice copy. Really nice.
Why haven't we played that yet?
It's not as good as the first one.
No.
It's not. It just is one of those black and white grid boxes, like the black box with the grid, and I've been kind of collecting some of those. So they look good on the shelf, and it was very nice condition, and it was a good price, so I bought it. Yeah, and then I actually got a couple other things for our friend Robbie. Speaking of that Pitfall, I snagged a couple of Sega CD games for him that I got to ship to him still. So Sonic CD and Soulstar, which is a shooter. And what I'm getting,
Wasn't that the one I sold for $5?
no,
Oh.
he'd be very upset if you did.
Okay, I was just making sure.
Got it's actually part of a trade. So he's trading me, which he's already sent me, is a complete in box copy of Darkwing Duck for the NES.
Oh, you know what? Thinking of that, when you ship that out, let me know. I got to put a copy of Rad in there for him. Complete in box. It's actually in a video store box.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it from Minnesota?
Yeah, actually it is. How'd you know?
Hold on, I gotta look at something.
It's gone already.
What is?
You can keep looking. It's gone. Damn. It looks just like that one.
Really? It looks just like this?
Identical.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep that over here between me and you. It's gonna be on the other side of me. Anyway, so the big thing I got, totally unexpected. Kyle Kyle messages me and says, hey, I got a guy on his way, and he's selling me a couple of Saturn games. Actually, at the time, it was just one. Panzer Dragoon Saga. The Saturn game. If it's not that Netlink Daytona mail order thing, it is like the hardest to find. Well, maybe not the hardest to find, but it's definitely one of the more expensive ones. So, like an idiot, I bought it because when do you see Panzer Dragoon Saga? And I actually like that game, had it when I was younger, and you can't find it anymore because the source code is lost. So, like, if you want to play it, the only way you can do it is like emulate it, which Saturn emulation is but better. You can get a Saturn to do a mode, like an optical disc emulator, and then do it that way, or you can have it. So now I'll take option 3. I have it.
Yeah, you have it.
And then then I left with that game, and he messages me. He's like, "Hey, you left too soon." The guy came back and brought Albert Odyssey, which is a Working Designs Saturn game. So I swung a deal with him for that later. That
You
week.
bought that? You did buy that.
You were
when
with
we went
me.
back over
You
there.
were
Yeah,
with me.
I was there for both of them.
That's right. You were there. I synced it. So that's the collecting update.
You left one thing out that Robbie sent you.
Did I?
Clerks.
Oh my God! How did I forget about that?
Probably the coolest thing, too.
This is what happens when you try to write notes for 2 months and remember everything. So we've moved to a new space. I've got a new studio space downtown. Yeah,
It
if you can
looks
see.
kind of similar.
And I'll post some pictures on Instagram and stuff. But what I had done is had the place painted, and I put up a few posters. Ooh, my contact lens just went nuts on me. I'm okay. I'm okay.
You're a calamity.
I really am falling apart.
You are.
So anyway, I sent him some pictures, and one of the pictures is the 3 posters over by where my desk is on the other side of this room, and it's Clerks, Mallrats, and James Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yep.
Right? They're just kind of framed up on the wall and all that stuff.
Hung
so-
very nicely, by the way.
Yeah, I have a friend who's a professional installer, and he's excellent. He's done televisions and posters, and the list goes on. But anyway, so I sent the pictures to Robbie, and he goes, "Oh, I have some of the boxes for NES games when they were from the RST rental store that Randall worked at in Clerks." And I was like, "What's that? you have what now?" And he sent me Burger Time. He sent me the box for Burger Time. So I have the box that was surely in the store when that movie was recorded, because it was 94, 93 that it got recorded, right?
Yep.
And it just warms my heart, man. The thing the part I love the most is Robbie tells me this story that the guy had a number of things, and he was kind of like this unsavory fellow, but he had like 2 of the Panesian games, like Hot Slots and Bubble Bath Babes or whatever. And I just thought to myself, how many times did Jay Muse or Randall, well, what's his real name? Jeff Anderson.
Yeah.
How many times did those guys rent or borrow those porno games for the NES? I was just like, it had to be at least once. At least.
At least once?
At least once.
I'd say at least probably half a dozen times.
Yes, but that's still at least once.
Yes.
Anyway, so that was the coolest thing I got was the,
I mean, it's no Sonya Blade, but
well, we'll get to all that. Whew. That is a good segue. I think we should get to the show topic.
sorry, I was looking at the.
You're good. We should say we're going to get to the chat.
Yeah, we can get to the chat real
Let's
quick
see here.
before we get to the topic.
I'm down for a trip. I'm good at Hold'em, says Retro Game Enthusiast.
Oh, John, you're in, my friend.
Yep.
We're gonna show up in a.
Because people who are good at Hold'em always say so. That is a misnomer.
I do the same thing.
Yes, I know what you do.
Vegas, baby.
Yeah. Well, see you there. Bring money. And Matteo says Saturn Bomberman has greater sign than all. I like Saturn Bomberman. It's one of the games I'm looking for myself. But if I found one, I'd sell it to Matteo first. I can play Hold'em. See, look, we already have a game going. You got you, me, John, Matt. The list goes on.
How about we
We'll use
just
that joke as many times as I can.
give you the money and call it good?
Look, that's up to you guys. You can make a deal however you want. You can cut whatever kind of deal you like.
You supply the beer. We're good.
Done. So anyway, now that our segue is completely eroded with the Sonya,
That's good. So
yeah,
actually, can we give a shout out to Matteo real quick?
I think we have like 10 times, and I've introduced the show topic twice. But go ahead. Now's the perfect time.
Just give him a little congratulatory. Because over the holidays, what did he do?
Well, a number of things. He moved.
That was more along the lines of probably what he would be more excited about.
Moving?
No.
Watching the Bucks lose to the Pistons?
Oh, dude. That's rough.
He brought it up, not me.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Just, yeah. I thought you'd say it.
I know, but we're going to have him on. I thought he could talk about it then.
Okay, then we won't talk about it. We're not going to talk about it. Congratulations, though, Matteo.
No, too late. Congrats to Matteo, our friend who, go ahead and tell him. Soldier
Finished.
Boy.
What?
Soldier Boy, tell him.
Soldier Boy.
You.
Oh
That was
my
too loud.
God.
Wow, that was loud.
That
I'm
was
gonna pull that
horrible.
back.
That was horrible regardless.
Yeah, I know. Go ahead.
Horrible. So, congratulations to Matteo. He did get finish his collection of the U.S. licensed Nintendo games.
The same
The same
way
same-
I finished it.
Yeah.
There's one gap.
Well, but
Is
you
that
know
gap?
what? It's done.
It's a wide gap, even
That's
though it
a-
is very narrow.
Yeah. That's a
Yeah.
pretty
Someday.
someday for both of you.
I just see him on.
But it's awesome that you guys got to that point. Matteo got to that point, which was awesome, and I know he was super proud about it. I saw a couple.
He should be. It's a hard thing to do,
yeah.
and it's not easy, man.
And they look good. It looks good.
It does. He's doing a fine job, that Matteo.
Congratulations, sir. All right, show topic.
You know what Matteo said as soon as he put that last game up on the shelf?
Suck it. Oh, I'm bad. He probably did.
And then he raised his hands up like, yeah.
Like, is it? No,
Fingerless gloves.
They're just doing that.
Yeah, they are. So what's our show topic now that we're 40 minutes in or whatever it is?
Hey, we had 2 months worth of crap to talk about.
Yeah, that's not their
literally
fault.
crap.
That's not their fault.
So, our show topic: Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3.
I just turned your phone off.
Bro.
It's okay. Here, look at that.
Oh, okay. There we go. We're good.
I fixed it.
Is it back up again?
Yes.
Yeah, it's back up again. So we're going to do Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. Yeah, we're through the first page. We only have like 12
You know
more
what I need?
pages to go.
I need a pen so I can be. That's the news, folks, and I am out of here. Do my best Dennis Miller where you know what? Let's not do that.
I was going to say, can I do Norm MacDonald then so I can just make OJ jokes?
You have to be Tina Fey.
No, I want to be Norm
too
MacDonald talking about OJ.
Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3.
Actually, that's a good segue with OJ.
How graphically
Finish her.
violent. Finish her.
and finish him.
Anyway, so yes, the topic inherently is Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 for the arcade, but we will dance around. There'll be dalliances with the original release of Mortal Kombat 3 and then the game, the platforms it was ported to at the time, right? So, but yeah, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. So, because I have a terrible voice, I'm going to read this. I really want to do this. Because I want to talk a little bit about the lore of Mortal Kombat, which every time I dig into one of these games, I am always shocked at how much backstory. When we did F-Zero, that was before you were on, but when I
Yes.
did F-Zero, I was like, this is a racing game with like 4 cars, the end. But then I go and look and it's like, no. There's an anime. There's all this stuff. There's this and that. And it's like miles and miles. So I want to preface this by saying this game is a very big game. There's a lot about it. There's a lot of information out there about it. We're not going to touch on everything. We're going to touch on basics, core concepts, talk about them a little bit and that kind of stuff. But you absolutely can't, because this is just the snippet I'm about to read from fandom.com, the Mortal Kombat wiki, about the premise of Mortal Kombat 3.
Dude, that's a snippet?
This is probably the prologue.
Snippet.
It's
3/4 of the page.
I'm telling you, and everybody has a backstory. They all have all these things that happen to them. There's a reason Cyrax is in the desert doing this. There's reasons for that stuff, and it's all part of this story that's insane.
Dude.
It's crazy. All right. And as I quote from fandom.com, again, the Mortal Kombat wiki, let me take a quick drink.
Take a quick drink. As you quote.
Shao Kahn, fed up with continuous losses in tournament battle, enacts a 10,000-year-old plan. He would have his shadow priest, led by Shang Tsung, revive his former queen Sindel, who unexpectedly died at a young age. Now, I want to stop right there. I have played this game since 1995, and I found out today, December 6th, January 6th, whatever date it is, whatever, I can't remember.
Wrong
Yeah.
year, my friend.
2022. January 6th. Shao Kahn was married to Sindel, who died and then was revived.
I didn't know it until you told me.
Didn't know it. This is craziness.
I actually kept up with Mortal Kombat early on.
Yeah, well,
You were like Mortal Kombat guy.
I was, but playing the games. I didn't get into like the lore of it all.
No.
Okay, so carrying on. However, she wouldn't be revived in the Outworld. The Outworld is the place where Shao Kahn is. There's all these different like areas, Outworlds, and the Outworld is like not a part of Earth. It's like this other dimension, kind of. Okay. She would be resurrected in the Earth realm. That's Earth. The fancy way of saying Earth. Okay. Or their planet.
Yeah.
Our home planet. This would allow Shao Kahn to cross the boundary lines and reclaim his queen. So basically, she was not revived where she should have been. She was revived here, and he had to go get her.
Does that answer why, and if I remember it, I might be wrong, but if I remember it, when you fight Shao Kahn in that, isn't there like a portal type thing behind him?
Yeah.
Or in the background when you're fighting?
Yeah, I think that's right.
And that's kind of like probably him.
It's probably the bridge between the Outworld and the Earth realm.
Oh, okay.
That'd be my guess.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's a
Kinda
good
all over the
point.
place.
No, it's not. It's very relevant. Carrying on. When Sindel is reincarnated in Earth Realm, Shao Kahn is able to reach across the dimensions to claim her. As a consequence of this action, Earth Realm becomes a part of Outworld, instantly stripping billions of their souls. Yikes. Now, this is the part that I think is interesting. That's all interesting about this part. Only a few are spared, as Raiden protects their souls. Now, Raiden is not in Mortal Kombat 3.
Well, that's because he's protecting some souls.
I found that out today, too.
Yeah, I found it out today, too.
He tells them that Shao Kahn must be stopped. Duh. But that he cannot interfere. Due to his status as protector of Earthrealm, he has no power in Outworld, and Earthrealm is now partially merged with Outworld. So he can't do anything about it. All he can do is help protect the souls of the people he can protect. But he can't help and interfere or defeat Shao Kahn. That's why he's not in the game.
I think he's afraid of Shao Kahn.
I don't think he was. If he could do all that, but he was like, it's like he's the only one capable of saving everybody, where you might have just been able to go defeat Shao Kahn, but the other souls would have been sucked away. So maybe that's why. Raiden's pretty badass. I was sad he wasn't in the game. Carrying on. Shao Kahn has unleashed extermination squads to roam throughout the Earth realm and kill any survivors. Yeesh. He's like the Hitler of frickin' Mortal Kombat. I didn't know that. In addition, Raiden's protection only extends to the soul, not the body. So his chosen warriors have to fight the extermination squads and repel Shao Kahn. That's the end of the snippet. Which again,
That's a lot of a snippet.
that's nothing. Dude, I'm telling you, go on that site and start reading, and you're like, oh my dear God.
Yeah.
We'll get to this too, but there are 26 total combatants in this game. Some playable, some are permanent, some are temporary, and some are just there for show. They all have their own backstories and reasons for being in the game and what they're doing. It's this, like, I feel like it's the Pepe Sylvia, It's Always Sunny thing, where it's like it all points back to Shao Kahn, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what it is. Anyway, so there's 13 stages in this, right? Like the different places that you play, like you talked about Shao Kahn's like lair with the thing and the subway and the whatever. I don't remember all they are. Yeah, subway.
Yeah.
And then there are 3 layers. So the layers are when you uppercut somebody up, right?
Yeah, you start in the subway, you uppercut them,
To the
knocks
street.
them into the street.
Right. Or you go from the bank to the rooftop or the soul chamber to the balcony. Yeah. I think the balcony would be is that the big bridge maybe? I didn't look.
Could be.
This is but this game, it's Mortal Kombat, which I think if anybody's listening to this or watching still, I'm sorry, first off. But if you are,
We have anybody left?
I don't know. But you have fatalities, right? Mortal Kombat 2 always had fatalities.
Yes.
And with Portal, I can't remember whether it changes from 2 to 3 if it's what's in there, but what's new with 3. But you get brutalities, which were only in the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo, right? Which were like the world's longest codes. Like the button, whatever they call it, there's a term for it that I actually use in this the notes. But why can't I think of the stupid thing? Dial-a combo. The dial-a combo for whatever they call it now. For the brutalities were ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then you have friendships and babalities where you would do something nice, right? Like, or turn them into a baby. The only way you can actually accomplish those is to not block during that last round or whatever round you defeat them in.
Yeah.
Right? I think it might even be the entire time. I can't remember. And then there's an animality, Animality turns you into this animal, which in turn like destroys them. Like you turn into a scorpion, or you turn into like a shark
I
and
think
eat
like
them.
Liu Kang turns into like a dragon
Yeah.
and like eats them.
Yeah,
or
and one of them
something.
turns into like Jaws almost and like eats them and stuff. It
I
might
think that
have
was
been,
Kano.
was it? Maybe it was Stryker. I hate him. I hate Stryker. Anyway, but it's funny because in Animality you have to do a you have to do it in round 3, and then you do, I forget what it's called. You have to like revive them. So the person dies in round 3, goes to finish them, has to have it in round 3, and then you revive them. I forget what it's called, mercy. You do a mercy, so you bring them back, and then once you do the mercy, you do the animality. You bring them back with this run, down, 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 run is what the mercy is, and then once you do that, there's a dial combo for the animality.
That's so much work.
It's so much work, dude. There's so much in this game. It's crazy. But yeah, Mortal Kombat 3 at its core introduced an actual combo system in dial combo. So dial combo is basically like you just like go high punch, low kick, low punch, right? Like that's Smoke's standard combo, right? And you just do them, and there really isn't. You almost don't have to time it out. You can just do them, and it will finish it.
Yeah.
Like if you do it fast enough.
Yeah.
Or correct timing. So anyway, why don't you tell us a little bit about the changes?
I like throwing these papers. I think this could be my new shtick. You're going to rip them in half instead? That was a terrible rip. Wow, you can even hear that on the mic.
You can hear everything in these mics,
Yeah, you can. So,
including my breathing.
so changes from Mortal Kombat 3. So it's 2 versus 2.
Before we get into that, we probably should say this. Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 was basically Mortal Kombat 3, but like enhanced, right? So there were more fighters and other things we'll talk about right here. But it was, when this game came out in the arcades, it came out as Mortal Kombat 3. And then Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 was like a .1 update of it, where they said, okay, it's 3, but there's more to it. There's changes to it. And it was like
It was almost one of those, they were like, holy shit, this is our pinnacle. Let's add a few things to make it even better.
Or they said, we really got to get this thing out, and we're not done.
That could be too.
Which I think was the more...
That's probably the
based
more
on what I've read,
logical
is probably the more likely of the two.
Yes. So, but the changes for Mortal Kombat, so they had 2 versus 2. They had 8-player tournament modes.
Yeah, you could pick a team of 2 people and fight a team of 2 people. Or you could do an 8-player tournament mode. That's how you got like the Shao Kahn chests, and then you would get different things from the Shao Kahn chests.
I forgot about that.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
And then they had, of course, improved AI,
Yep,
where
which-
they would learn more, which got really frustrating the farther you
Well,
got.
the AI actually was better than the original one, but it was a little more frustrating, and we'll get to that eventually, yeah.
Jump punching in the combos.
Like you could actually, in Mortal Kombat 3, there were combos, but in Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, you could be in the air and do a kick or a punch, like a high punch, and start your combo with it. So like if you're doing like Nightwolf's combo, I could jump and do like a high punch and then go high punch, and it would bring you right down to the screen. Like it was kind of like this glitch, kind of. It was there on purpose, but you'd be in the air punching the guy, and as soon as you hit him, you'd be standing. You could start your combo, like he's exposed at that point. Yeah. So you could, or girl, or robot. I don't want to discriminate against anybody. There's all kinds of things in this, but you're your opponent.
Yes.
Right. So yeah, it was pretty interesting. That it was a good combo starter, and it would also enhance the amount of damage a combo would do. So, yep.
And then they had character balancing.
Yep. So some characters were very weak. They made it a little bit better. Some characters were too strong. They changed some of the moves and how quickly they could do them. So you might not be able to immediately go repeat a move you just did, because you would be able to cheese it and just kill somebody without them ever being able to get up. So, talk a little bit about the background development of this game. I really didn't do a whole lot of research on it. Obviously, I think anybody who is familiar with Mortal Kombat knows who Ed Boon and John Tobias are, right? They are Noob Saibot, right? Ed Boon was the programmer and designer. The guy's been in a million things. He's a voice actor now too, and he's still heavily involved in the Mortal Kombat franchise, which is now up to Mortal Kombat 11. He's been involved in that.
I couldn't believe how young both of them are.
Yeah, he's
Like normally when we do
56 or
these,
8.
I know we're talking about older games generally. 'Cause
It's
traditionally we've been
27
talking
years
about
old
Nintendo.
now.
Yeah. But I think Boone was 57.
Yeah.
And I think Tobias was 52.
Yep. he was.
So that's surprisingly young.
Yep, and John Tobias was really the artist, and he was the kind of the person that handled what it would all look like, right? And he's a comic book artist too, and all that stuff. So, but yeah, they were the main drivers, and like I said, this was really the last game they really worked on together. That little dynamic duo of the two. So there was some animosity with how some of it, and we'll talk about that during the reception. But the music and sound, if anybody has ever played this game, they know if you uppercut somebody, what does it say?
Toasty.
That is Dan Forden, who is actually the composer of the music for the game.
Yep.
And that is Dan Toasty Forden, they call him now. That's him doing the old toasty that pops out in the corner. And then I thought this was very interesting. So the kind of the narrator of the game is Shao Kahn, right? That big, deep, like, finish him. Yeah, finish him, or choose your, whatever. Although he's you're nothing, or he's always like talking shit to you, and you're like, fuck you, Shao Kahn. I can't fuck. Oh, God, I hated that voice. He'd do that. You know it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I guess I pulled it off.
That was interesting.
Yeah, but he was the voice of Shao Kahn, but really, you know what he's best known for? It's not on the sheet. You're not going to be able to look over there and know.
I have no idea.
Would you believe me if I told you he has designed more pinball games than any person ever?
No, I legitimately wouldn't. I wasn't trying to
It's true.
Like a.
Steve Ritchie has designed more pinball games than he actually worked in the pinball division.
Oh,
right. So he was. They said floor 1 of Midway was video games, or arcade. Floor 2 was pinball. So he designed pinball, and he that's kind of his passion. But he wound up being the voice of Shao Kahn, and I think they lower it a little bit.
Yeah.
Because when he does it, you hear it, and like I think you have to like put an effect on it because it's really down there, And also, I thought this was a very interesting fact. It was his idea, Steve Ritchie, to change combat from C to KOMBAT. So, which I think was the right move. Looking back, it wouldn't be as cool if it was MC, UMC3,
no,
UMK3. K's just cooler.
Yeah,
that's
K
why he's
is
called
cooler.
Cool with a K.
K
Like
is
Kid
definitely
Cool.
Like Kid Cooler.
I
Sorry, I was
imagine-
turning our
what we
chat
got?
back on.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't think anybody's talking.
Yeah. Matteo.
Everybody's enthralled with what we're talking
You know,
about.
what Matteo told me
What?
he's going to start collecting Famicom and Famicom Disk System games. I said, "Oh, do I know the guy for
I was
you?"
going to say John might be a good person.
You know what he told me when I said that?
What?
I already talked to him. So anyway, tell me a little bit about the release of this game, will you?
So, Mortal Kombat 3 Arcade came out April 15th.
The original, right? The the base.
That's
Mortal
just
Kombat
the base
3.
Mortal Kombat. That's actually 4 days before my 18th birthday.
Well,
I'm old.
not as old as me.
Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, the arcade stand-up, came out November 6, 1995. That was actually a free upgrade from the traditional Mortal Kombat.
All it is new EEPROMs. Basically, you pull the EEPROMs from the old board, put them on. If I remember it properly. So upgrading, and there's new graphics,
I
right?
was just saying, then they had the little marquee that said Ultimate.
Yeah, well, you have the marquee and the stickers on the side are also different, but it was you didn't have to change them, but they had them. But it was just kind of interesting that it was just it was like a ROM hack that they did themselves. It was just an upgrade, an incremental upgrade almost. So go ahead, and we're going to talk a little bit about the ports too. So when did they come out, and where were they on?
Super Nintendo came out June of '96. Sega Genesis came out October 11th of '96. She gave me a specific day on that one. And then Sega Saturn was June 26th of '96. I like how we sit here and wait to hear it.
You have to. You have to. You're supposed to not talk about it. Next time we don't talk about it. Just let it happen. And just like make the sound and then we just move on. All right. So a little bit about the reception of this game. I will tell you that my personal experience, we'll get into that a little bit more too later, but
Yes.
I was confused. I was like, what's happening? Like their Mortal Kombat just came out like, what was it? 6 months ago? Like, why? What is this all about? Because I love the Mortal Kombat series, right? Like, I remember going to Tilt, right, and playing
There was no
the first.
arcade around here.
Yep, they were actually a chain. But Mortal Kombat was there, Street Fighter was there, Street Fighter 2, Pit Fighter was there. All those. I just remember being like engrossed with like Mortal Kombat was like. I was like, what is happening? There was something about it that I like Street Fighter, but I think it was the fact that it was all these rendered people. It wasn't cartoons or pixels. It was, renderings of people, it was actual, whatever they use the term, I can't remember, but it was, I remember that vividly. And like, I don't know. I remember being very confused about why there's an updated version or another version of the same game. And I kind of started to think, because if you're familiar with Street Fighter, there were like ROM hacks you could get or people would do. So there was like the rainbow board or the rainbow ROM.
Yeah.
They had like put all these cheats and you could like fly in the air and throw fireballs up in the sky and all that stuff. And it was really weird. And I was like, is it that? And I was like, I remember talking to one of the people at like, probably at that point, Aladdin's Castle. Right.
Yeah, because that was around the time
it was 95,
Aladdin's Tilt went out and Aladdin's came in.
Yep. So I remember talking to them, and he's like, "No, it's an upgrade. It might have been over. It might have actually been at American there.
Oh,
yeah.
AFE.
Yeah, and he was like, "No, it's a legit release that they sent us, and we just upgraded." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I just remember like, I thought it was cool. I just loved everything Mortal Kombat. So I'm like, this is awesome, right?
Yeah.
Like there's more people. You could play as other people in the game now and unlock other things and this and that. But there was like this undercurrent of people being like, is this going to become Street Fighter, where Street Fighter 2, like there's Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Championship, Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting, Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Street Fighter 2 Super Street Fighter 2, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. And it's like you keep modifying the original game over and over and over again. And, I think people were like, okay, or maybe it was, wasn't finished and now maybe it's done and they were lazy. It's like, or something like that. And I think what I read is, this is kind of where Ed Boon and John Tobias, the relationship started to kind of fragment because John had some very high standards for what he wanted to put out. And I'm not saying that Ed didn't. I don't know. I wasn't in that room or any of those conversations. Yeah. But I don't think he liked that it went from like Mortal Kombat to Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 to Mortal Kombat Trilogy on consoles and PC and all that. And it was all kind of the same game. It's like, let's just finish it and make the same game. And then he bailed. And that was kind of some of the animosity. There was some real animosity there for a while. Yeah. So, but I think this is a game that over time, has become... it's been very kind to it. Like we'll just kind of skip to the legacy because there's not much to it. But the legacy of this game is, I think it became much more balanced. I think that people have figured out like there's a tier listing of who's good and who's not. But you can kind of play with all of them, right? And there's a way like you could be picking one of the worst players potentially by tier, but they'd still be competitive against anybody. If you're a good enough player, you could play with anybody and be fine. And I think time has been very kind to this game, and I think it looks good. I think a lot of that digitized graphic stuff really left a lot to be desired as you kind of progressed into polygonal stuff and all that. And it was right in that fine line before it did that. Right before it wasn't pixels, but it wasn't polygons, and it's not early polygon games that are just like, oh my god, this is so hard to look at now. Right? It's just not like that. It's actually still pretty, I think, aesthetically pleasing. And but yeah, that's my opinion.
It's almost like a cult classic. Like,
what?
I mean, there's more people, but you still kind of have a niche of people that are like Mortal Kombat 3.
But I think what has happened is, I think everybody, I don't know if everybody, my opinion is, I'll get to what that is, I shouldn't get into it. I think that it has become, as time has gone on, people like it better and better and better. I just think it's more balanced than maybe the other games, and it's more polished than 1 or 2. 2 has that like, I love 2. It's grittier, right? It still looks a little unpolished, and 3 it gets you to that like it just looks more refined, and everything's just a little bit smoother, and the combos are part of the game, not just things that you're juggling and making up and stuff like that. So there you can see it like evolve, and that was probably the apex of it, right? Where it's like when you talk about the Beatles, right? Like they're like. Their work got progressively better, and then Get Back and stuff came out, and it's like, well, that's not quite as good as the stuff. You hit this crest, and I think Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 is the top of that crest. So that's my opinion. But anyway, so now we have to make a phone call.
Okay, I guess we're taking a break.
No, we're not taking a break.
Good people to call, places to go. Well, let's look at chat while you're making a call.
You make that.
I don't think anybody's chatting.
We'll get them to talk. Because we're moving on to the LJN game ratings. Okay.
Let's see. So basically, you said Mattio could play Hold'em. He did thank us for giving him a shout out on his collection.
Love you, buddy.
You the man. And then John actually said, Mattio, only 1,000 plus Famicom games to go.
That's it. Me too.
Lord.
Well, I'll never buy. I don't want 10 more. I'm pretty good. I don't need that. I have enough clutter.
Yeah, well,
I have 500 VHS tapes sitting behind me.
possibly. Actually, Mortal Kombat just ended.
But
We had Mortal Kombat, if nobody noticed, on the screen above Mike.
it'll be
I
back.
got Mortal Kombat 3 over here.
Yeah, maybe.
Kano is
Maybe
giving
we
it
do.
to Katana.
Easy now.
Oh.
You sure that's Mortal Kombat? What are you watching?
Oh, he's finishing her.
That looks like a brutality to me. Hold on.
Talking.
That looked like a brutality to me.
was.
I hear the tape rewind in here. I might want to cut my mic.
Dude. Yeah, it is. You can even pick it up on. Yeah, I'm picking it up on mine a little bit. It sounds like there's like. Oh my God, that's wild.
Yeah, we might have to edit that out.
Yeah. Wow.
Give it a minute there. It'll be done in a second.
You guys can listen to it for a minute. Actually, we just play some music. Just for the hell of it. I'll turn it off.
You picked the wrong one. See?
I want to play Bad News now.
Hold on. I have a great idea. I got a great idea. I'll tie it in. It's all going to come together, buddy. As soon as that thing is done, man, as soon as they stop drilling that hole over by the outside by the window, oh my God, what is happening behind me? It's going to blow up, isn't it? The tape has come out. It's going to choke me to death, isn't it?
I think it might.
It's done.
The helicopter is landing.
I think the batteries just died.
Plug in the charger, man.
So I gotta make a phone call.
All right.
You ready?
I kind of need another beer, but I'm ready.
Go get it. Now's a good time. Yeah,
Okay,
let's do
maybe.
it. Now's a good time. Take a 30-second break. I need to drink my beer because I've been drinking water. Should have brought me that smooch. Nothing. No. Well, yeah. No, leave it. I'm going to take it home to Amy. I just have the one. I'm good. I'll drink this. Drink whatever. It's why it's in there. You're good. Don't even sweat it. I know. It's for Amy. I'm going to take it to her. What are you doing? Yeah, yeah. I'm good. You can bring them over if you want. So I got an idea. I know we've mentioned this, so I'm gonna bring it back. We got a phone call to make. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
Let's do this.
Hold on.
Should I act like a radio DJ?
No, hold on.
Hello.
And now, the special guest of the LJN Game Ratings. You may know him as 8-Bit Supremacy on Instagram. Robbie Coleman.
Oh, I'm glad we got some closure on the Because I was kind of upset we didn't talk about the I'm Bad sample in the last episode. It was a giant oversight. Yeah, that one.
It was so funny. We were sitting here. Everybody, it is Robbie. 8-Bit Supremacy, mentioned on the phone, mentioned on the show a number of times. Been on the show. It actually was on the last show we recorded in 2021, many months ago. But yeah, we were sitting here dicking around with the sound effects, and I remembered it was still on there, so I played it, and I was like, wait a minute. We can use it as his intro music when we call him.
There you go.
It was perfect. Anyway,
Yeah, really.
good evening.
I was kind of losing sleep over that because we didn't talk about it last time.
Yeah, I know. It was sitting right there all queued up and everything, and I'm going to tell you, I got to come up with like a Bruce Buffer-like intro.
Yeah.
From the Windy City, Chicago, Illinois.
Yeah, get the Chicago Bulls theme song in there too.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, that's a great idea. That's right. 6'6" from the University of North Carolina, Michael Jordan.
There you go.
Some would say you're the Michael Jordan of 8-bit collecting.
Wow, that's a prestige.
High praise. High praise,
Yeah,
my friend.
high praise, man.
Anyway, how you doing, bud?
I'm all right.
So the reason we brought Robbie on is Robbie is much like me in that he loves Mortal Kombat. And I asked Robbie is one of the people that helps us with the LJ and game ratings, and thank you for being so gracious as to offer that when we need it. And and I really appreciate it. We really do. And but I asked you about Mortal Kombat 3, and it led you down this path almost like what I probably will do, where you almost want to write this like a love letter is strong, right? But it's like you're really it's a big deal for you. And I wanted to give you the proper platform and not just read your words and let you kind of tell us what you thought, specifically of Mortal Kombat 3, but then also how you feel about everything. So the floor is yours, sir. 8-bit Supremacy's LJ and game rating, and go.
Am I supposed to just read what I sent you earlier through an email?
Well, I was going to actually leave that out, and I'll edit this out if you want me to. But I wasn't going to tell them that you actually composed an email that you emailed to me because your review was so long that you could not.
It was long, dude.
It is so long. I'm actually going to just show it, the volume of it to Jay. Because
it's
look at
funny
this.
because the other reviews you guys asked me to do,
Jesus, dude.
it was like, the other reviews you asked me to do, I just wrote like a few lines.
Was that like your college thesis? Was on Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3?
Yeah, got me. I just dug it up out of the file.
Can't blame you. I can't blame you. There's nothing I would have wanted to write about more at that time in my life either, though.
I guess I can just paraphrase that, just speak about it real quick, instead of just having you read a long-winded review.
No, I
just wanted to get some build-up about it because it's the third entry in the original trilogy of 1, 2, and 3 is so weird because it just kind of blindsided everybody with like a lot of questions, and it was a very bizarre path they chose.
Yep.
Definitely the black sheep of the original 3.
At the time.
Most at the time. I'm an old timer, and I checked out after trying the 4th one and hating it.
Me too.
But
it was awful. 4 was awful.
I didn't fucking like it. You can throw in the trash right next to fucking War Gods, the other Midway attempted Mortal Kombat knockoff game.
But not the Sub-Zero mythology.
That game rules, and I've grown a fond appreciation for it as of recent times. Back then I rented it and I was like, it's kind of whatever. But now I played it recently and I'm like, man, this is kind of awesome. The PS1 version. I've never played the 64.
Yep. So go on. Sorry.
Anyway,
go ahead. Yeah, tell me about
that game is mostly just an offshoot of MK3, so it's still in that realm of like 2D fighter type thing.
Yep.
So the biggest complaint with everyone right out the gate was like the characters, a few key characters from MK1 and 2 were pulled.
You don't say.
Yeah, I know. You turn on MK3 and you're like, where the fuck's Scorpion? Where's Sub-Zero? I guess Sub-Zero's there, but where's Sub-Zero with a ninja costume on? Now you got this guy with like a red scar in his face and like a vest on. And you're like, okay, that's not Sub-Zero.
Where's the guy that's on the side of the Mortal Kombat arcade?
Where's Johnny Cage?
The two guys. Where's Raiden? Where's Johnny Cage? These are the guys you marketed.
Heavily marketed and like established the game. And Daniel Pacina, who played Johnny Cage, I read up on this today. The reason they pulled him because the actor who played Johnny Cage tried to sue Midway for some money owed, and it just resulted in a falling out. But then they just did, and Daniel Pacina actually did Johnny Cage, and also was the actor for Sub-Zero and Scorpion as well.
Well, originally it was supposed to be Van Damme. The whole premise
originally,
of the game.
Originally, they came to Van Damme, and he was like, nope. And then I guess I also learned recently, this is other Mortal Kombat world. Originally, they went to Cynthia Rothrock for Sonya Blade, and she said no.
Buddy, I'm going to tell you a story about Sonya Blade.
Okay.
Have you? And I might have to cut this out of the podcast. And if you're watching this live and I offend you, I'm sorry. But man, Sonya Blade is still a babe. I was doing some research today about the game, and she had done an interview with a guy like on YouTube, and I started to watch it, and I'm like,
interview with a guy.
It was just she was talking about being on the game and like how she got into modeling. I was just like, whoa.
Which one though? There's two different actresses that played Sonya Blade. One was the original #1, and then
Kelly Hoskins.
Carrie Hoskins.
Carrie Hoskins.
Yeah,
See, he
she lives
knows.
around here. She lives like in the south suburb.
Aurora, and Batavia. Not Batavia. I forget. I looked it up. I was trying to
I
find
mean,
out.
that's right. Something in the southwest suburbs, but
Yep.
like, yeah. And she was like the token hot girl at Midway. It seems like they had her like be the cheerleader in the background of like NBA Jam. They had her as Mistress Helga in the Revolution X game, like all leather clad.
Yep. And you know what I found out from that interview? She did all that makeup, and the story went. She was in her dressing room. Her and Steven Tyler were like sharing a room, and she's like, I have to change, because she was changing from like what she looked like to Helga, and she changed herself. And Steven Tyler came back in and was like, "Who are you?" He had no idea who it was. Like, she was completely transformed, and it was just kind of this cool story that I learned today from that interview. That's why I watch that stuff, because it's just the things that you learn that's really really neat. So
was that interview like B-roll from the Insert Coin documentary?
This was literally a YouTube video I found. If you go look her up, I just did I did Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 interviews or whatever. I don't remember what I looked up, and she was one of the first ones that came up, and it was like a 40-minute long interview with this guy who the guy kept going, "That's incredible." Like I felt like I was just like, settle down, it's all fine. Like, yeah. But it was cool. Yeah. I found it's funny, you know, all this, because that's all the stuff she talked about in the interview. So go on.
Huh. That's cool. Yeah, I forgot how we got on this tangent. Oh yeah, the characters. Yeah, they ditched Johnny Cage, which is, you know, like you said, the side art of the original Cap. Like, so when you fire up, I fired MK3 up for the first time ever at my local pizza place, growing up in my north suburb town of Gurnee, Illinois, and I was like excited because I was a huge fanboy of 1 and 2, like in succession. I followed all the hype. I read all the magazines. I obsessively played all the games, 1 and 2. I loved them. 2 is a fucking masterpiece. It expanded upon everything that 1 had done successfully and just added a little more to make it like a better more playable game with a little more extra moves, fatalities, and campiness to it. And then Dan Ford, also the sound designer, knocked out of the park on number 2. So that's another. Anyway, so I powered up 3 finally. I'm excited. I popped my quarter in. This is like 11-year-old me or something. And I was like disappointed, like confused kind of. I was like, okay, all the main characters are gone, but you have this like yellow and red cyborg ninja thing. I guess those are the replacements for Sub-Zero and Scorpion. That's like the trade-off. Like, right. They were cool. I was like, these guys are cool. I did like the nice little clever touch of them coloring the palette of the blood black for the robots. So when you hit them, like they shed like oil.
Like oil, yeah.
That's like the coolest. That was the coolest thing to me at first. I was like, wow, that's a nice little touch. Anyway, they had like random characters with like a female Goro-looking character named Shiva, and I was like, that's weird too. All the characters are kind of bland. You have Curtis Stryker, which is like the dumbest, like,
oh, he's random, the worst.
He's just like a boring, generic fighting game character they just put in there, and I'm like, okay, who's this guy? Who cares? What's he got to do with the lore of this? I don't know. But they as a compromise, I feel like they knew they were like going to get some flack about ditching all these main characters, so they brought back Sonya and Kano, which were missing from number 2. So that's kind of cool, but not cool enough to rescue that. Anyway, that it was fine. The game itself is not bad per se. It just was a hard. MK2 is such a hard act to follow. That was a tall order. To take like a fucking hard like 90-degree turn from like what was already kind of going in a linear path.
You took like one of the most popular characters in Scorpion, and you didn't even put him in the game. Like, he was probably I maybe it's just me, but he was the most popular character, I thought.
I think so too. Him, absolutely, because he had the get over here thing with the voice and that's actually Ed Boon doing that. I learned too.
Yep.
But like, yeah, he's the guy. Everyone like associates him with the game. Like, they like to quote the fucking spear throw, get over here. That's like easy to do that move. Anyone can do it. You just
back punch.
Yeah, jam the joystick left a bunch of times and hit punch, low punch. I don't know.
Funny story about the get over here. The guy, Steve Ritchie, who did Shao Kahn, right? He was at a pinball convention doing a panel, and he was answering questions. It was like a 2-minute interview that they had like thrown up on YouTube. I found this link or whatever. I don't remember where. And the guy's like, "You're the voice of Shao Kahn. Can you do any of the stuff?" And he's like, "Why are you here at the pinball thing? Like, why are we doing?" Like, he was joking, but he's like, "Why are we doing this here? Like, that's video games, and I want to talk about pinball." And then he did some of it, and he goes, "Now do get over here." And he goes, I didn't even do that. That wasn't even me," he says.
That was somebody else.
Yeah, so anyway.
Yeah, it's the creator of the game.
Pinball legend.
It's kind of awesome if you just like look that up. Like, there's a bunch of some random fanboys who put up YouTube videos of them asking Ed Boon to do that on command, like at some convention. He just does it. It sounds flawless and it's perfect. And it's like his voice is not aged. It's like 25 years later, he can still just do it like perfectly. It's kind of awesome.
It's not like Mike Judge trying to do Beavis nowadays.
Yeah, it's a perfect analogy.
You're just like, that's not it.
Dude, let's not even talk about that. When they did the resurgence when he brought back Beavis about it the first time, that was the first thing I noticed, and I was like, I can't watch this.
I don't know if I can watch this.
Like, I can't do it.
Yep,
I was
I
like,
can't.
Oh.
Yep. Anyway, so.
Anyway, yeah, the character thing was huge. They added the run button to add a new mechanic to the game. That was fine. It just made it kind of a different game, though.
More aggressive. More aggressive.
I ramped up. It made it more aggressive and almost a little easier. I don't know if
I thought it was interesting because one of the points they made about the run button was you can run faster, but you can't back up any faster. So you really were rewarded if you were the aggressor, right? Like you were still backing up slowly, right? So I thought that was interesting.
Also, if you watch really high level players play that game head to head, it's kind of annoying to listen to because all you hear is the of over and over and over and over, because they're just all trying to cancel each other out of the runs and being aggressive and kind of
stamina bars.
Anyway, I love the rudimentary difficulty of being kind of more of a basic fighting game of 2. It's like they pushed it just far enough before getting a little crazy with the combo system in 3.
Yep.
If you got a combo in 2, you earn that motherfucker.
That's what I was saying. It was a juggle. It was more of an art form. This was
an art form.
Yeah, they call it a dial-a combo. You can still do it. Those juggles are still there, and some of the combos you can put together by kind of pairing them up are insane. But it's it's still also just going like I just said to Jay: high punch, low kick, high kick, low punch. That's Smoke's combo. You know what I mean?
I don't even remember what I do with Cabal, but it's always the same thing over and over again. I just stand it and half a life bar or something. And I'm like, okay.
Yep.
And I don't know. I think that just was kind of the era that they were trying to go to. Everyone got combo crazy. I was watching video of Killer Instinct today.
Oh,
and that's just bananas. It was 1 billion hit combos and stuff. I got the announcer yelling in your face.
Super combo, mega combo. Who was the girl that I used that would do the roundhouse kicks? Orchid. Yep, it was Orchid.
But that was that was the time. Tekken and Killer Instinct were coming into their own, and that was the building those patterns was the thing. That was where Mortal Kombat was trying to go. I don't think they went quite as crazy with it in 3 as Tekken or even Killer Instinct.
Tekken, Killer Instinct was more about doing the same thing over and over. You do a move, then you do another move, then you do a move. Tekken was literally a dial-a combo where you would go and press 10 buttons in a row. You could do 10 hit combos. Everybody had a 10 hit. They all had a 10 hit.
Yep, they all had.
And it was all dial-a combo stuff.
So 3, if 3 were a fighting game that just came out on its own, it would be people revere it as a masterpiece. But I don't know. It still is great, and people loved 3 once they updated it to Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. Now, because every time you get a compilation of Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3 now, they just include Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. They don't even put the original one in there because it's kind of an unfinished idea. They rushed out or something like that, maybe to just get another sequel out. I don't know.
I think it was a matter of
maybe they thought just release it. People would be like, yeah, that's cool. Just immediately accept it and move on. But I don't even know. I wonder. I actually never looked into that. I wonder if they kind of released Ultimate because of the backlash, or just because they felt like it, or they were planning on doing that major revision anyway, but they wanted to get the first version out. I don't know.
All I know is that the Somebody's following us up there on Twitch. I don't know what that was, or Facebook.
Yeah,
That was a noise. Was not expecting that noise. But Asa Burke. Asa Burke liked us. Hey, Asa. I still have to send stuff to Asa. I forgot all about it because of all the holidays and everything, but I still owe Asa. So I'll take care of it. He knows I'll take care of it. But anyway, it's funny because we kind of touched on that before we had John. I feel like as I read into this, one of the things I kind of started to realize was the split between Ed Boon and John Tobias was kind of around this game and how this game was handled. And ultimately, like, I think your theory, I kind of agree with it, where it's like they had to get 3 out and 3 wasn't really done, but they had to get it out. So they got it out. And then they just did this incremental upgrade to it, which kind of finished it. It wasn't really a finished thing. It's almost like nowadays. Nowadays, you buy a game and it's like, okay, I bought the game. Like Cyberpunk 2077 was absolute trash. It barely worked when it came out. I don't know. I don't play it, but I just know these things, right? Like you just kind of listen. And now it's a fine game. It works. Like Fallout 76 was the same thing, but they're unfinished. They rushed them out. And then you're almost like beta testing it at first. You know what I mean? So I think
they did that with MK2. There's like 4 revisions of that game before you got to the final version that has all the shit in it.
Yep.
Like the first one has missing a lot of stuff.
Yep.
Like a lot. They're like missing entire like fatalities and special moves and stuff like that for characters. But they weren't missing entire characters at least, I guess.
Yep. No,
I don't know.
No, it's not like it's the Super NES port or something.
Of what?
No, isn't Shiva missing from it? Which, by the way,
is she? I don't even know because I never played the MK3 for Super Nintendo because I was always a Genesis person in the 90s.
One of the things I was talking to Jay about is that this game is so big that like we could sit here all day and talk about the differences in the ports because they're all different, right? Like there's no this in one, but it's in another one, and there's no these and that in one, but there isn't another one. One thing I thought was interesting is Shiva is the only completely digitized model in the game. Everyone else is based off of a real person. Shiva is the only one that is not.
Well, that's what they did with Goro, right?
Well, I mean, like I meant more like the actual fighters you can choose. Like Kitara is certainly not based off of a real person. But
are you sure about that? I don't know. Man, they look
I could,
human.
You know who? It might have been Ronnie James Dio. Now that I think about it. I'm gonna let that one savor. You guys can savor that one. That was pretty good, I thought.
All I can hear is Rainbow in the Dark.
Well, kids, we had a lot of fun today. Every time I think of Ryan James Dio, I think of him on South Park, and he just goes. He's like talking like, "Well, we had a lot of fun today. Holy diver!" Like he just goes from one to the other. Anyway, I digress. Go on.
I don't know where we're going with that.
We were talking your rating.
What's that?
There's a rating at some point.
Oh, yeah. The original rating I gave my manifesto on Mortal Kombat, which was a review I emailed to you. I put MK3 on its own as a 4 out of 5 because, as I was just saying, like as a standalone game, if it wasn't like so deeply attached to 1 and 2, people would be like, "This is fucking phenomenal." Probably like give it a 5 or whatever off the bat, but because of the bad taste I left in my mouth after the, unhinged success of 2, and that's what made me rate it as a 4. Otherwise, I probably would have given it a 5. Because I played so many fucking fighting games in the 90s. I ate them all up. Like Primal Rage, fucking Killer Instinct we were just talking about. Like, dude, I played Time Killers. Like, I like that. Just because I was like, whatever, give it to me. Like, I don't care. A 2D fighter, I want it. Like, obviously, Street Fighter 2 is...
I want it.
Street Fighter 2 is like, I said this in that little review, sorry. Street Fighter 2, I think it was probably one of the first fighters I played, the 2D fighters. So when Mortal Kombat 1 came out, I was like, okay, objectively speaking, this is not as good of a fighting game as Street Fighter 2, but it's like dark campiness and like dry humor and like everything, like it made it so enjoyable, entertaining. So I was like, so we all ate it up. We loved it. It's like two, they added more to that. There's like this autonomous like approach to making that game. All these stupid, weird inside jokes they throw in there, like the toasty guy, like just fucking hilarious and like dark and overly violent. They add more blood upon new revisions, and it's just I don't know. So, but 2, they kind of made it a better actual fighting game, playability wise, as opposed to 1. So that's when it kind of was like a heavy contender against Street Fighter at that point.
Yep.
And then 3, they took it further. I guess if you're like a fighting game person, you could say that 3 is like a better game, like or Mortal Kombat Trilogy when they really refined it. Like I guess they're better fighting games. Like I don't know, mechanically speaking, I don't know how you phrase that.
Yeah,
like,
I think balance.
balance and stuff like that, like to make it like fun, focus, playability.
You think about Street Fighter 2, and I don't care what version you're playing. No one's choosing Zangief, right?
Hey man, he's forced to be working with if you know how to use them.
Right, you have to know how to use them, but you also are slower than everybody, right? You have to like if you had to play for your life, would you choose Ken, Ryu, or Zangief?
Yeah. Well, apparently, according to some regulars at Logan Arcade who are deep Street Fighter 2 or Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo players, I should choose Dhalsim because he's the strongest, best character in that game, if you know how to use him. Never knew that until recently. I always thought he was kind of like a garbage character.
I can see it, but he's also, like I said, if I'm playing one game for my life, that ain't the guy I'm picking.
No, I'm not either.
I'm going to Hadouken and Shoryuken your ass until I can walk out of there alive.
Yeah, I guess like this is a good point to make. If at some point in the 90s they're like, all right, we got super duper Street Fighter something coming out now.
They did,
and then you played it, and they didn't have Ken and Ryu in it.
Right?
You'd be like, what the fuck? That's what happened with MK3 when they like didn't have the main characters anymore.
Don't worry, Ultimate Super Street Fighter 2 is coming out, and he'll be in that.
Right.
So
yeah. Exactly. So that's like how big of a deal was this time.
It was jarring. I remember being like, why is Scorpion not in this game? And then like 6 months later he was, and I'm like, why is Scorpion in this game?
But I played it anyway. It's like, you know, like as a kid, and I was like, all right, this is a new game. And then everyone in the arcade scene, because I was like living in arcades at the time, my mom would just leave me out in the one at the mall for hours on end. And I'd play it competitively against all these older teams and stuff. And everyone was into it. They're playing it like really highly competitively, so we just played it. It was the next installment.
I don't know if Jay, if you remember this, but we used to go to American Video Entertainment or whatever it's called. AFE, right?
We used to do a lot of the video arcades around here though, because there was Nate too.
Yep.
But Nate was one of our old friends. Sorry.
Yeah, but I remember very specifically when Mortal Kombat 2 came out, we would go, and there was a Middle Eastern fellow that was there that played, and he obviously had access to the internet. Right, this was just as I was getting access to the freenet and understanding the internet and all that stuff myself. But that game was in arcades, and he would come with a piece of paper, and he would play, and he would do finishing moves. I don't remember his name either, but I remember so vividly like that quest for information and being like, oh my God, this guy, they figured out, Baraka's finishing move or whatever it was. And it was just amazing. It was like nobody knew what all that stuff was. There were no guides yet, and it was all coming out and leaking out bit by bit. And every day he'd come in with something else. And I would just I remember he'd be playing and I'd be like looking at his paper, like, oh, back down, high punch or whatever it was. I was like trying to memorize that stuff.
There's a meme of like Trump like writing down something and they show him writing it just MK fatalities and really bad penmanship.
Yep. The guy looks like
when I was a kid, I lived basically in that arcade at my local mall, Waukegan, Illinois.
Shout out Waukegan.
I don't know if you guys had Aladdin's Castle. It was like a chain of arcade, but we had Aladdin's Castle upstairs, and because the arcade scene was so popular, the upstairs second floor of the mall had Aladdin's Castle, and then directly below on the first floor was a Namco cyber station. We had two fully functioning arcades that were in competition with each other that were completely sustaining and being okay because it was that popular.
Yeah.
So I would fucking, and then around the corner of the mall was a Software Etc., which later became Babbage's. I would go in there and I would just beat the mags and then write down as much as I fucking could on a piece of paper with all the moves and strategies, and then I'd just book it over to the arcade and just have it as my cheat sheet.
Did we live the same life? We lived the same life, I feel like.
Sounds like it, man. I don't know.
The only difference I think we had was we had a friend named Chris. So when we did this around this time, so it would have been Mortal Kombat, I think, or Mortal Kombat 3. Tekken was out, so I was the Tekken
95,
guy.
96.
I was the Tekken guy. Mike was the Mortal Kombat 3 guy.
Still
and then our friend Nate was the Street Fighter guy. And we would go to these games, and the three of us would just sit there hours. We'd put in 50 cents and watch, half a dozen people put $10 in trying to dethrone us. And I remember the best part about it was we would take turns. So if Mike was playing Mortal Kombat, I would walk over and I'd stand there, and somebody would put their money in, and I'd go, "Oh, that's a bad idea, dude. I'd wait." And they just look at me like confused, and I'd be like, "Oh, you fucked up. You're done. You fucked up." And you would sit there and just talk trash in their ear. Mike was 1,000 times better because Mike would be super obnoxious.
We would
when he would come over to Tekken.
Yeah,
I'd be playing. But that's all we did.
We had another friend, Chris, right? Myself and Chris and Jay, and we'd go and we would just basically be each other's hype men. So like he would go play Tekken and somebody would play him and I'd be like, "What are you doing?" And the guy'd be like, "I'm gonna play this guy." I'm like, "I wouldn't." And he would do the same thing because, like, I mean,
you guys are running the joint, man. Like bullies.
we were, well, we kind of, like, I'm not really a bully in real life, but yeah, we were kind of dicks because we were also like 19-year-old punk kids or 20-year-old punk kids, right? So we knew everything and we acted like we knew everything. But man, it was very rarely were we not correct in that. Like somebody would come in, like I'd play the guy would come up and pick Sub-Zero. And I'm like, oh
yeah, that was always the worst.
I would just, like, Jay would be like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm going to be Sub-Zero." It's like, you're dead, man. Don't even play. You don't even need to play because I would go pick Nightwolf, and Nightwolf can just marginalize Sub-Zero immediately, right? And I would just go, and the guy would throw his ice, the ice thing at me. I'd shoot it back at him, and I'd just run into a jump into a combo and do like 10 hits, 60% damage, and the guy's just like, "I gotta go." But it was great. Like I don't love conflict now in my life. Like I try to avoid it if I can. Like I'm not averse to it.
No, that's like fun. Like
it was competitive.
It's like a little jockish, but it's like that was the time, and that's what those games are for. It's like get that out of your system and like have fun with it, and not actually be dicks.
So Retro Game Enthusiast, our friend who called in earlier, by the way, he just happened to call in while we were recording, and the phone rang into the podcast. It was hilarious. He said that there was an Aladdin's Castle at his mall as well. Yeah, we had one here too. I actually still have my token dispenser with Pac-Man on it.
I got odd tokens in there.
I bet Tim still has some stuff. You should ask him next time you see him. I haven't seen Tim in a while.
Our friend here, Tim, worked there, and he was the one that would walk up, and Jay would be like, "I want to play this game." And
I would go over in the afternoons because I worked retail, so I'd go over in the afternoons when nobody was there, and I'd walk in, and I knew all the guys that worked at that arcade, but I would walk up and be like, "Oh, hey, I'm going to go play Tekken for a little bit," and Tim would go over and be like, "All right," and he just unlock it and walk away. Like they showed me how to give myself credits on it, and they just unlock it and be like, "Just let me know when you're done," and I just go over there and play for free all day.
I remember like going to the mall. My mom would allot me like a few dollars to get quarters, and I'd burn through them pretty quick because MK2 or whatever, the AI is awful and I get smoked, or like some guy would beat me because he's better than me. But I remember like one of the guys, a few older kids were there, older teenagers, and they were playing, and one of the dudes like worked there, and he like opened the fucking coin slot, like loaded up all the credits, and I was like, what? Like I was like blown away that you could just do that, and like he had the power to do that. And I was like so jealous of it. And now at age 37, I work at Logan Arcade, and I just do that every time I go. So I grab the midway key, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm that guy now."
That's me. Yeah. I remember vividly going to like the arcade and putting $10 and getting $10 in quarters out, and being like, "I'm going to spend the next I don't know how many hours here playing this game by myself, unless somebody shows up." Yeah. I would just play this game by myself. And it was like I was making less than $10 an hour. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'd put it in there and be like, I better get at least an hour's worth of energy. I remember thinking very vividly. I also remember like I was working at Sears. Jay and I both worked at Sears. I remember vividly going up and like we'd sell something and you got like commission, right? So like I was like, I just sold this stereo system. I just made $120. I'm like, I'm gonna go play Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 for the next 4 hours. Like I'd leave my shift at 5 and I wouldn't leave the mall until it closed at 9. It was the best. Yeah. So
those are good times, man. That era was really golden. It's hard to really articulate it to anyone who like just didn't live through it, but
it's so funny.
Everyone kind of has the same story from it, more or less.
And what's funny? What's funny about it is arcades were dead before that. Like it was the arcades before that were like, it was all the old stuff. It was like nobody wanted to play Burger Time anymore or like whatever it was. And then these games came out, and it was like this huge resurgence of going to the arcade.
Well, yeah, because why would you spend the 25 cents to play a game that you have on your Nintendo.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, that's what it was.
It's true.
It was totally the competitive, put a quarter up and play, winner,
Come and get it.
lose thing. Like, it was totally fighting games that was 100% attributed to that resurgence and, like, brought it all back.
I agree. 100%.
And then they eventually jumped the shark with too many of them. Time Killers came out and they're like, all right, time to wrap it up, boys. Let's just close our doors and fold all these arcades.
So I will tell you that our friend Matty Mace from the Matty Ice and Marky Mark podcast has just messaged me and said, stream looks dope. And there's just a little bit of echoey kind of stuff going on with Robbie, but he thinks he knows how to fix it. So I'm going to work on it when I can't do it while recording. So, but anyway, shout out to
the podcast.
Yep. Shout out to Matty Ice, a good
Marky Mark.
a good dude, and Marky Mark. We love
Good
Mark.
dudes.
So, yep.
It's not too echoey. Maybe because I'm on speakerphone. Is that maybe a problem?
Might be.
It might be part of it, but I don't think that's what it is. It could be something in the settings too. So don't sweat it. No biggie.
Yeah, Robbie, don't worry. We were a train wreck from Jump Street. You should have been here when we started. No.
Oh my God, Robbie! The way this show started was he kept derailing us over and over.
It was terrible.
I'll have to send you the unedited version. Not that we edited it. No, anyway. But
I don't know if I really might need to add it to Mortal Kombat 3 discussion. We can just talk about the era in general. That's cool. Or I can dip out.
Give me your rating. Your rating for Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. I think I saw it in the email, but what would you put
I
it?
said MK 3 was like a 4. Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 was like a 4.5.
Yep.
Great games, but they do not hold a candle to the prior installment of MK2, in my opinion.
So
The overall package and vibe of entertainment 2 is where it's at. Got the level design, there's more personality in the characters. I don't know. That's just where I stand on it.
And that's fine.
I might have heavy bias because it was my game. Someone else might think 3 is the best one.
Matty Ice says not a 5. And then he says, you're right, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 is much better than 2. I agree with you, Matt. I don't think that's what Robbie was trying to say.
No, I did not say that.
I don't think that's what he's saying at all.
Me saying this shit is, in terms of Matty, I smoked his ass in Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3.
Yeah, I remember that story. I remember you telling me that story.
I think we need to set up a.
I agree with you, Matt.
I think we need to set up a little competition, a little friendly competition.
Yeah,
I'd like to see
Logan Arcade.
you and Mike and Matt go head to head here.
Please give me a reason to train. Please, I beg you. I want to get.
Man, I'll train on Cabal because that's the only guy I really use.
You know what's funny?
You know what we could do? We could live stream. We could do a little live stream video down there with you guys duking it out.
We'll bring Maddie with us. But so I went and looked. There's a site out there that does all this information about the game, and they're all so well vetted out, right? And there's a tier list for the characters, right? So there's 24, 25, or 23, whatever, 23 playable characters generally, with guess who's last? Guess who is the least effective, worst character in the game?
Curtis Stryker.
Wrong.
Oh, and you're talking about 3 here.
I'm talking about Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3.
The worst, most least effective character.
Like in a tier list, they were at the last spot of the tier list.
Huh. Kano? I don't know, man.
Shiva.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Shiva. Now, guess who number 1 was?
Cabal.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a cheap motherfucker. That's why I picked him.
Number 2 was Human Smoke, and my personal favorite Nightwolf was 7, which is totally respectable out of 23.
Okay.
So Cabal's the Eddie Gordo of Mortal Kombat.
That's right. Yep. So here's what I propose. I'm going to ask you a question, Robbie. We have to read the rest of the game ratings, okay? And then we're going to go into the collecting, where to play it, speed running, and all that. You're welcome to stick and stay on the show. You can stay for the entirety of the show if you're so interested, or you can gracefully exit now or at any time. It's really up to you.
I think I'll just dip on out and just be the Mortal Kombat lifeline that you guys phoned in.
You have absolutely filled that role, and we appreciate you being on as always. And
Robbie, if you get bored, you can just call back in. Mike's
just call.
Right next to
My phone's right here and it's connected. If you want to call back in, anybody wants to call, give us a ring.
Fuck it. Anybody wants to call, just call.
You know
call
my
Mike's
number.
phone.
My number. You guys got my number. Yep.
I have one. I guess I can leave you with one small story pertaining to the game franchise as a whole, because I had memory triggered when we were talking about software, etc. So the software center I'd go to read through the EGM mags and write down the fucking moves and fatalities and all that stuff. That was my go-to spot to buy games at the time.
Because you could open them and return them.
Yeah, I never did that, but
I did.
Okay.
I had a CD burner, so what are you going to do?
Damn. Yeah, I don't even know if it was the CD era games yet when I was buying it from there. Anyway, so when MK1 was announced for home consoles, everybody's fucking losing their minds because they finally get to play it at home. You know, like there's so much hype around it.
The 1992?
The advertising behind 91? It was nuts. It was nuts. They like dumped a ton of money. It was huge. And it was Mortal Monday. That was the thing.
Yep.
On the release day. But I was so fucking like thirsty with anticipation to get that game that I would just call that software, etc., like relentlessly, like weeks leading up to it. Full well knowing the game wasn't out yet, but just calling and being like, "Is Mortal Kombat 1 in yet?" And they're like, "No." They're like, "Okay, well, just make sure maybe it didn't come in early." You know, it's just like being a total punisher, bothering these fucking poor cashiers.
That's amazing.
And I could tell they're getting progressively more irritated. And
Stop
then, like,
calling here.
I could tell they like it did some small staff or whatever, and they probably just were like, "Man, this kid keep calling." So I would try calling again, and I would call and then disguise my voice to try to pretend like I was a girl. Try to pretend I was a girl. I was like, "Hello, do you have the Mortal Kombat game?" And just be like, I'm already 11, so I sound prepubescent.
We know it's you, Robbie.
Yeah. So they were like, at the time I was like, oh, they would just be like, "No, we don't have it. Sorry, you know, come check when it actually comes out on the release date, and we'll have it." I'm like, okay, whatever. I hang up the phone, and I remember doing that once, maybe more than once, because I was a psychopath, and I kept calling them. And I ended up back in that software, etc. one day, and I was being a little kid, just like literally leaning against the magazine rack, sitting on the floor, reading magazines, not buying them, just reading them, like Game Pros and EGMs. And I overheard two of the guys in the store who worked there talking shit like about that fucking kid who calls you all the time, like every day, about ordering this game.
Oh my God.
And I was like, I immediately got like kind of like just, you know, super humbled and like quiet. Just kept my head down, reading the magazine. I don't think they knew that me in there in the store at that very moment was that same kid. I was a fly on the wall.
Can I
essentially hearing them talk shit about me? It was super meta, and I was like, and then one of the guys addressed it, like, yeah, he called in here trying to like disguise his voice one time, like it's so obvious, like we didn't know.
Dude, let me tell you a quick story. It's related but unrelated.
Like,
it's not
related.
related.
Me. I didn't call him ever again after that. I was like, all right.
This is not related to Mortal Kombat, but it's a very similar coincidental situation. So I have to tell you the story because it makes me laugh every time.
Yeah.
I'm working. I live in Atlanta, and one of my customers was in Buckhead, and I had to park in a parking deck in Buckhead. It's like this affluent area of Atlanta. I had to park in this parking deck, right? And I had parked next to the wall of the parking deck, so I can't get out of the passenger side of my car. Like you could never. It's blocked off by the wall, right? And I go up to my customer. I'm there an hour and a half. Come back down. I go to leave. Someone has parked literally right next to my car. There's no way for me to get in my car, right? And they had some bumper sticker on their car about how, basically, you should be respectful of everybody and be nice and this and that. So I wrote this note, and it was like, if you want kindness, you should, give kindness. And it was like this 3-sentence blurb. And I was pissed off. I had to climb to the trunk of my car to get to the thing. Now, but what happened is my ticket was jacked up, right? Like my ticket was this was like sometime later. I went down, I had to go do something and talk to the people in the parking deck. And the person in front of me had my note in their hand and was talking to the person. I want to know who did this and who wrote this note and blah, blah, blah. And I'm literally standing right behind them going, holy shit, that's the person that wrote the note. Like, it was the craziest shit. It was sometime later. It was not like immediately later. This was hours later. Oh, it was so, oh my God. Anyway.
I thought you were going to say you left the parking deck.
It was kind of like, with my little similar story to yours, like just actually hearing
Yours
them,
is way
like,
better.
Dude, mine's just funny because I thought I got away with it. I was like being all clever and
He always does this voice, but we know it's him. You sound kind of like him. No, that's not me. It's
no, definitely not me.
That's the best.
I think that's some other guy.
So
I mean,
good.
girl.
Anyway, so all right, well,
Yeah.
very good.
So I'll leave you with that. I'm gonna go phone and
Thank you for your time, sir. Your
do all that,
contribution
but-
as always. It sounds like we've got a trip to Logan Arcade and Galloping Ghost coming up sometime after it's not,
Yeah,
5 degrees and snowy.
Sounds like
I
I
have
get
been
to
playing-
rehash the. Oh, you done fucked up now.
You better start
I've been
working on your lines.
playing MK2 a lot lately. I just roll on random select, and I'm getting up there again with my old skills. So, but number 3, I definitely need to brush up on it.
Are there 12 people in? There's 8 in the original, right? And then there's 12 in 2.
Yeah, 12.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then there's like a huge explosion after that. There's like 23 or 25 in this game. So-
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
there's 12, and then there's no, I don't know if you can actually play as the hidden characters. And
You ever see the movie White Men Can't Jump?
yeah, Woody Harrelson and
Yeah, when Raymond, Raymond, like Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes are gonna play these guys for money, and Raymond, the guy's not gonna have that he's gonna play doesn't have the money, so Raymond literally walks into the pawn shop, pulls a ski mask over his face as he's walking in, and he goes, "Hey, give me your money," and the pawn shop owner's like, "Raymond, is that you?" And he goes,
oh yeah,
No, this ain't Raymond, no. That's what I imagine when you're like, do you have Mortal Kombat for Super Nintendo? The Sega Genesis? Like, we know it's you, Raymond. We know.
I was very, very serious trying to pull that off too.
That's amazing. That's one of my favorite stories of all
That's
time.
fantastic.
There you go.
Absolutely
I
fantastic.
got a lot of them in my
We need to have you on more often. So, all right, bud. Have a good
All
night.
right.
Thank you for calling in.
Talk to you,
Later,
Robbie.
man.
Bye.
Yeah, really great. Bye.
That was awesome.
That was awesome.
Absolutely awesome.
I'm leaving the Bluetooth up. If anybody calls, I'm
Leave it
look,
up.
Matt, you want to call? Call. John, you still out there? Call.
Yeah, Matt
Mattio?
was questioning the score. Let's hear it, Matt.
Anybody? We're
Call,
here.
let's give you a review, buddy.
Yep. Come
I'm
on
gonna
in.
I'm gonna do mine while he's calling.
Now you do yours while he's finding
So
my number.
I'm gonna go quick. So I gave the overall a 4. I based this one off regular Mortal Kombat or Mortal Kombat 3, not Ultimate.
Yeah.
I said this game hits the sweet spot of what the game industry was turning into from the basics to so much more. So many memories of the fatality, breathing fire on them, spinning them until their skin comes off, anything like that. The Mortal Kombat series was such a pioneer in the platform fighter and paved the way for so many more.
That is fantastic.
And then you're up, Michael.
Why don't you give us sashimi Z's? Because I've got John's here.
You know,
and
I
I'm
don't
gonna
like
do
him.
mine.
You know, I think he's an asshole.
Yeah, I know. what
I'll
you
read
think.
it though. I'll read it.
No, read it.
So Shazimi Z's actually is pretty funny.
Sashimi.
Shazimi. Yeah. Mr. Z
Yeah.
says no Raiden, no thank you.
Is it Raiden or Raiden?
It's Raiden.
I agree.
Okay.
That was a test and you
You're
passed.
not helping.
You know what you got?
What?
F plus. Click.
God.
Go ahead.
This game is, he said no Raiden, no thank you. This game is trash compared to Mortal Kombat 2. I think him and Robbie are buddies. You
Maybe.
lost me at Shao Kahn. Shang Tsung is the real boss. This game does redeem itself with Kung Lao, but he's still no Raiden. Then again, who is?
I'm starting to think Sashimi Z is partial to people from the Far East.
Is
Because all he
Shazimi
talks
Z
about,
friends with Robbie?
I don't know, but all he talks about is Shao Kahn, Shang Tsung, Kung Lao, no Liu Kang. Should have brought up Liu Kang. He would have had every,
Talk about Raiden.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, whatever. He liked him.
No.
Moving on. So I'm gonna read our friend John's retro game enthusiast who called in. So
Yes. John Young.
a surprise guest appearance earlier. John
Man, the myth,
says,
the legend.
"Yep. What can I?" John based his off of the Sega Genesis port.
Okay.
By the way, which Jay and I played all the ports,
Yes.
and I would have rated that the worst one.
Yes.
From an aesthetics perspective, it looked the worst. The Saturn was amazing. The arcade port is obviously the arcade. The Saturn port is almost near perfect. Super Nintendo was okay. Genesis was not as good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so John says, "What can I say? It's just as much fun as I remember. The graphics are a bit dated, but quaintly so. I honestly can't think of a better fighting game on Genesis. And get out of here with your Shaq Fu." Listen, I will die on that hill. Shaq Fu is amazing. It's not. No, it's not.
I
Okay.
can't say I've ever played it.
So I didn't, and his rating was a 4.5, which he told me he was concerned would be the lowest, which it's not obviously with yours and old Shishimi. But
I gave it a 4.
yeah, I'm saying it's yours is that makes it lower than 4.5.
Yes.
Yeah.
Robbie gave Mortal
4.5.
Kombat, regular Mortal Kombat 3 a 4.
But we're not talking about that.
I was.
Why? That's not where the
I
show's
give
about.
Ultimate 4.5 too.
Okay, then we're
Or
moving
4.
you.
4. I'm sorry, 4.
You sure?
4.
All right.
4.
So 3, 4, 4.5, 4.5, and then me.
Call me on my cell phone.
Uh-oh. Surprise caller. Let me answer this. Hold on.
Thank you for calling 105. This is caller number 6. Hold on. Yo.
My bad.
We'll edit it like this worked. Go ahead.
Yeah, what up?
Hello, this is Matty Ice. How's it going?
Whoa. The Matty Ice of the Matty Ice and Marky Mark podcast?
That is correct. And
Dude.
I am hearing some insane stuff on this podcast right now.
It's fire tonight over here, Matt. You should have been here.
You should have come on over. Got beer?
Who was who just said this game was trash?
That was Robbie.
No, that was Shishimi Z.
Oh, Sashimi Z said it. Yeah.
Sashimi Z.
He's
is
an asshole, dude.
absolutely insane.
He's an assoul. I don't like him. We aren't friends.
He's off his track.
Mike's buddies with
I
him.
think he's.
a dick.
I'm not even buddies. I think he's off his meds. You know how you think how there's just people in your life that you have maybe one thing in common with, and you really don't agree with them on much of anything else. But I have friends that are friends of mine because I played poker with them, and that's really all we'd ever talk about. And if you diverted from that one core concept, you're like, we really shouldn't be friends, but because we're both like poker, we can be. That's I think Sashimi's relationship with this show is that he's interested in retro video games, and outside of that, I don't have much for him.
Well, so I'm going to give this game a rating based on the Super Nintendo version, which you guys said was okay. I haven't played the Saturn version, so I don't know. The
Come
arcade
over.
version is what it is.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I know. I need to play that one. But I would give this game, is it just 0.5 or can I go in between?
It's 0.5 increments. I'm sorry. It's a hard, fast rule. I only have graphics for 0s and 5s. I can't put a point anything else.
I think, you know what? I'm going 5 on this game. I'll give it a full 5 for the Super Nintendo. And I got a couple reasons to back it up. I think it's got some of the most fun characters, like with Noob Saibot and the other additions into Super Nintendo 1. And then I grew up playing this game at my grandma's. We had a Super Nintendo set up she had a farm. So when it was crappy weather outside or something like that, we would go in and play Super Nintendo.
And when Matt says he grew up on this, he means in 2007.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
But still, I had a Super Nintendo, so I grew up.
Go ahead.
I grew up just like you guys, either way. But
you did. You're one of us, 100%.
You just have more. You have more hair than we do. At least me.
With
Yeah, exactly.
you for sure. me and Matt we might be neck and neck.
Yeah, but the one memory I really have of playing through this was I would run through this in Street Fighter all the time. And if you did on the Super Nintendo version, I can't speak on the others, but if you played the 8-person brawl or whatever, and you ended up winning the tournament, it gave you all these cool little options at the end of it.
Yep, the Shao Kahn crates.
Yeah. So one of the options I would always pick would be, running through all the different, you could watch all the fatalities and brutalities and stuff like that. And I would just get popcorn and watch that shit.
Yep. We're doing it right now. If you're watching the stream, the Sony TV off to Jay's right, stage left there, is a 5-hour long play of everything that happens in Super Nintendo's Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 port.
Actually, he's lying. It's me.
Amazing.
It's recording of me dominating that game for 5 straight hours with every character.
Right now.
Yes. That's why you can't see my hands. I'm playing under the table.
That's why.
Yeah, I can't even tell you how many hours I put into this game.
just learning. Cabal was always my guy. He had just this crazy, like, 10-hit combo I could pull off all the time. I don't know if I could do it anymore, but yeah.
You could figure it out. I guarantee you. Give it a day or two, you'd be like, oh, yeah, I remember this. It's like getting on a bike, buddy.
It sounds like I got to start training again for the Chicago trip.
I would, because we're doing this shit now.
You're on the bill, my friend.
You're on the hit list.
Yeah, and Robbie called me out, and I just can't really remember what happened. It was so long ago, so I'm going to need a refresher on him trying to beat me in this game again.
Sounds like he would have no problem handling that and providing that for you based on what he said.
Well, I mean, all he does is play. He works at an arcade, and then people come up and ask him, like, hey, you want to play this fighting game? So he just gets practice all day.
And he mauls them. Yep.
Yeah, I've seen the people that go to his arcade, and like 5 people almost killed me without me even landing a hit on them in Street Fighter Alpha or whatever game it was.
Yep.
It's bad.
Yep.
There's some ruthless people out in Chicago.
You don't want to fuck with a specialist. You don't want to do it. Especially if they're like, yeah, sure, we can play. That's fine. You don't want that. If it's poker or video games, just like, I'm good. Maybe we won't do that.
Yeah, they're like, you mind if I sit down over here and play against you? It's like, nah, I'm just going to leave.
Let's watch Cowboy Bebop instead.
Yeah,
I hate anime, but let's watch that. That's fine.
Hey, it's live action now.
That's right. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, there
Anyway.
you go. But yeah, I give the Super Nintendo port of this a 5. If I could, it would be a 4.75, but Mike is lazy.
You got to round up. No, it's not that I'm lazy. Look, the LJM rating system is in increments of 0.5. There are graphics specifically and excited faces specifically to the number. I cannot make an amalgam of two to help you. I'm sorry. I love you, but I can't.
I can't dog this game with a 4.5, and I'll give it the 5. I'll be the guy that gives it the 5.
Thank you. Because you know what? It's time for me to give my LJN rating, and you're welcome to stick around for it, or you can.
I will stay. I will stay for your rating. I'm excited to hear it.
I've prepared nothing. I basically wrote 2 lines, but I will preface this by saying I gave this game a 5.0. It literally may be one of my favorite video games of all time. I currently have a Neo Geo MVS cab, like a 1 slot, and there are 2 other stand-up arcades that I really want in my life, and one of them is a Donkey Kong, and the other one is Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. And this was a huge game for me in my life. And it was something that I spent a lot of time learning and mastering and getting good at. And I just, to this day, I can still do a lot of that stuff just from like muscle memory. And I loved this game. And I loved the franchise. I love fighting games. I love the arcades, but this was like the pinnacle for me. So, what I wrote was, how many ways can you tell something that you love it? And let me see if I can find out. But I don't know if I have to really say much more other than it is, along with The Legend of Zelda, is probably my second 1B to its 1A of games. So,
if you want that cab, since we do have Matt on here, their sponsor has a cab.
Yeah, they do.
Matt might have to pull some strings.
I just emptied the quarters out of it. That thing does rake in a good amount of quarters up there.
Yeah, because it eats them because
that, game like crazy.
That UI or the AI is a bunch of dicks.
Yeah, you'll get like 1 win, and then it just suddenly turns up the difficulty to 99.
Yep. But yes, I can't speak highly enough about this game. I originally had set out with this show to talk about Mortal Kombat 3, and then Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 would be an ancillary part of it, but I couldn't just because it's actually the bigger part of the game. And I have such fond memories of getting my PlayStation when it came out and getting Mortal Kombat 3 when it came out and learning and mastering that stuff. That was how I honed all my skills, right, was with that version. And then the Saturn version came out and I was like, oh my God, I need a Saturn just for this, right? Because that was my life. So I love this game. And someday, if anybody out there is listening and selling an Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 dedicated cab, I will buy it. I will buy it like today if you had it. So
if you do, email.
Email info at lostjoysticknetwork.com. Or if you're interested in Panzer Dragoon Saga, I just picked that up. I bet you didn't hear that, did you?
Oh, there you go. Nice pickup.
The big boy. I'd trade 10 of them towards it. I only have one though, and I really wouldn't. There you go. So anyway.
I definitely, people say 2 is their favorite, and I don't like with the character list for this game and just like the graphics for it, the gameplay for it. I just don't even see how any other Mortal Kombat tops.
Two is more quaint. It is more gritty. It is less refined. It doesn't have a combo system, and I understand if you like Street Fighter 2, Mortal Kombat 2 is the equivalent of that. 3 is more as you get into the Street Fighter 2 Turbo Alpha world where you have these dial-up combos and all that stuff. And I can see why one person would prefer one type of game over the other. But 3 was it for me. That Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 revision was like the apex of like one-on-one fighting games. So
Absolutely.
But 2 is great.
I agree.
2's on the, if you're Tom Brady and you're holding up your hand with all your rings, right? Your 2 hands, because it's more than 5. It's in those rings. Mortal Kombat 2 is in those rings of arcades. Like if I'm getting past Donkey Kong and MVS and Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, 2's right there. Right? It's like the next step. If I ever started my own personal arcade, it'd be there. 100%. Anyway. Thank you for calling in. You're welcome to hang out if you want.
I'm gonna watch you guys because I'm currently just like jammed into my studio trying to jerry rig the roadcaster for this. But I'm gonna go outside and watch you guys on my TV and enjoy the rest of your guys' show.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for calling.
Thanks for calling in, buddy.
Matty Ice from the Matty Ice and Marky Mark podcast. Check them out. iTunes, Google Podcasts. They're everywhere. Stitcher, I'll bet they're on that.
They're live. They do live on Monday nights. I know they're
Monday at 10.
You guys are on your break. When do you guys come back on, Matt?
Next week.
We come back this Monday coming up.
Yep, I talked to Mr. Reichert. He's been texting me, and I was like, "Are you guys live today?" He goes, "No, next week." So I already knew that.
Yep.
You didn't even have to ask him.
Oh, there you go.
You were there when I knew that.
Sorry.
I appreciate the plug, guys. Good luck with the rest of the show, and thanks for letting me call in.
See you, buddy.
See you, bud.
See ya.
Hey.
All right. All kinds of people calling in. I love this.
So that means
Cody.
Jordan. All right. We're going to move on to the collecting, where to play it, speed running, all that stuff. So why don't we actually do this? Let's do
we're
where
2 hours.
I know. Well, everybody's called in, man. What can I say? It's been a family reunion around here.
That's true.
Everybody that's been on the show so far has called in. And next show, we're gonna have another person.
Oh, yeah.
It hasn't been on the
It's
show
secret.
yet. Well, it's
Are
not,
we going to announce that at the end?
we'll talk about it at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we need to become more regimented and also plan better. We will hold ourselves responsible for the things we say.
Yes.
So let's do where to play it first.
Where to play it?
Tell me where you can play this game, Jay.
Well, of course, per Robbie, you can play it in the arcade.
You can play it in the arcade.
You can play it in the arcade. Finish him.
Got him.
All right. Of course, the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Sega Saturn, PlayStation 2, Mortal Kombat Armageddon Premium. You got the Game Boy Advanced. It's as Mortal Kombat Advanced.
Hold on. Don't gloss over this.
What?
So PlayStation 2, there's a game called Mortal Kombat Armageddon.
Yes.
There's a premium edition of that game, and Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 is part of that premium edition.
Yeah.
Yes, you must have the premium edition, which I do not have and now need. And it's only about $25, so probably buying it tonight.
You need to get on it.
Anybody's got a copy for sale, hit me up, because as soon as I get home tonight, I'm going to be on eBay buying that shit.
There you go. So,
Go on.
Game Boy Advanced as Mortal Kombat Advanced. Nintendo DS as Ultimate Mortal Kombat.
Did you know it's advanced and not advanced?
Did I say advanced?
Twice.
Damn it.
I know. You want to do it again?
Advanced.
Do it
Yes.
again. Let's do it again. Hey, this will get edited.
Yeah, you guys will see this. You got to listen to me do it twice. So, PlayStation 2, Mortal Kombat, Armageddon. I don't know why I'm doing
No, go
that.
to the next one.
Game Boy Advance as Mortal Kombat Advance. Nintendo DS as Ultimate Mortal Kombat. iOS, you can play it on your phone.
Which sucks.
I'm sure it does.
You read that review and it was like 5.7 or whatever, and it was like, you wish it was that good.
Oh, yeah, I was reading it, and I was like, iOS, get the fuck out of here.
Trash can.
Mortal Kombat Arcade Collection. You can get that one on the PC, the PS3, and the Xbox 360. I still have a 360. I should get that.
You should.
And then Arcade 1-Up.
Yeah, Robbie and I had a conversation about the arcade one-ups and how we're both like intrigued, but I just hate the form factor of them. And I don't think that it's something you could actually, I say competitively, but I'm so used to how, and Robbie is the same way, you understand the nuance of the game and the feel of the game and what you can and can't do in these like windows and all that stuff. And I just can't imagine that the experience is genuine enough where I would feel good. Like I wouldn't play this game today on a Raspberry Pi, and it's just lagged. I can just tell. I'm like, I go to do a combo, and it's like you miss the guy because you pressed the kick too. You have to do it very quickly. There has to be this quick twitch response, and if there's lag, you'll miss that window. Yep. And it's just there's online play and stuff for it, which I think is interesting. It was a concept, and I'll get into that real quick, but that was a concept that they had created originally for it. It was called what was it called? I have it on the notes here. Where did I put it? Here it is. Okay. So they had UMK3 WaveNet, right? And it was something that was, I think it was test bedded in like San Francisco and in Chicago. And it was a way for you to play people online, but you had to have a dedicated T1 in 1997, 1996. You know how much a T1 cost back then? Like it was
not cheap.
It was not cheap. So it was very interesting, and it's just one of those things that like I love the idea of being able to play people remotely in that game and do that stuff. But I just can't imagine that experience is going to be genuine enough, and it's going to irritate. It's why I got into retro game collecting again, because I was like, I want to play Punch Out, and I tried to play Punch Out on a big CRT TV with a comb filter and all that stuff, and I couldn't beat Soda Popinski. I'm like, I can beat Soda Popinski. What is going on here? And I started to look into it. There's inherent lag because of how the picture is filtered through that CRT versus something like this behind me over there. So I went back and played it exactly the same way on a different television and was like, oh my God, it's not me. I thought it was me. So, it's just that I just know that form factor, you couldn't play against somebody because it's so small. Right. And it's not, that's why I want a real one. That's why I want a real one. That's why. So anyway,
that makes sense.
And that's where we can play it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about, you talk about collecting, and I'm going to talk about speedrunning because I've got some information about speedrunning I thought was interesting.
All right. And we will, when we get into collecting, we're going to talk about what you have, because we had, when we were going through playing, you have a stack of Mortal Kombat, Ultimate Mortal Kombat games. So,
the where to play it section was kind of authored from my basement, not Wikipedia. No,
right. So the Sega Genesis, of course, they have it loose for $25. Complete in box 70, sealed 200 and up.
And these things are all condition sensitive now. Everything is. So I always preface this by saying a CIB could mean just the manual and the cart. And this is a cardboard box that has a slider tray. So it's like a slip sleeve that slides in. So it could be completely trash and you might get it for 40. Or it could be in really nice shape and you could get it for 100. Mm-hmm. But on average, it sells for about $70 complete.
Super Nintendo, we got it for 33 loose, so a few bucks more. Complete in box 170. It's a pretty big jump.
And I'm going to tell you what, I didn't realize it was that expensive. That's a very, like, I would have put this at the $80 to $100 range, maybe. Yeah. And you know who has one? Media Reload. I'm going to have to go over there tomorrow and get it because I didn't know it was that much.
You might as well.
And I'm finna.
Wheel and deal with them. Well, you never know. We get a lot of people listening, and they might go over and get it for you.
Yeah, none of them.
You're like, I'm going to be at the door at 10.
None of the Harrison works there. He'll be there at 9:45. I'll get it.
There you go. So, and then sealed, it's $1,000.
Yeah, there was a recent sale. Like there was literally a recent sale of a decent shaped one for $1,000 raw, not graded, right?
Which is crazy.
Yeah, I thought it was too, but you'll find out why as we progress.
Yeah. And then Sega Saturn, 40 loose, so a few dollars more than the Super Nintendo. 70 complete, which is kind of surprising.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you.
It's just crazy because the Super Nintendo is $170.
I think there's less of them. I think most people at that time, if you were going to play that game, the Saturn was probably the best. It was the best option. So what you see is these ports. I just think there's less of the Super Nintendo than there are of Saturn. Yeah. And it's kind of a more collectible. It's Nintendo, so it's always going to be inherently more, probably a little more expensive and more collectible. But yeah. Yeah, and I think I paid about $50 for mine about a year and a half ago. So
well, and we've seen where that's gone. Yeah. I was actually listening to Collector's Quest.
Yeah,
they were talking about just the crazy ramp in prices over the last year.
It's insane. Yeah, well, and you would have thought after 2020 things would have started backslide, but some of it did, but other things did not.
No.
So go on.
And then for the Sega Saturn, sealed 400.
I'll tell you this too. I saw that auction and I was like, I'd buy that.
Yeah.
I would buy a sealed copy of this game for $400 and send it into WADA to get graded, just to put it on this shelf with the other stuff that I have. I wouldn't even care what kind of grade it came back or any of that stuff. It would just be kind of a cool thing to have because this is one of those games that's so important to me.
Yeah.
So anyway, go on.
So, and then graded. So we've got Super Nintendo 9.4A plus, which sold November 22nd of 2020
Heritage
at
Auctions.
Heritage Auctions for $3240.
Yep, that was just over a year ago now.
Yep. And then Super Nintendo again 9.0 A plus. That one sold December 19th, 2021. So just
2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah, a few weeks ago.
On eBay.
On eBay, and that one sold for $1423.
And that's why I go, it's not that shocking that this is $1,000 for just a raw seal, because when I look at the condition of it, it wasn't like a 9.4, 9.68. It wasn't that, but it wasn't terrible. So it would probably fall in the 8.5 to 8, 9 range, and then you pay $100 some odd or whatever to get it graded for a sealed game, and you're not making really any money there. It's about what it's worth.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right, I'm gonna talk a little bit about speed running. That's collecting. It's still affordable. You want a loose game, you want a CIB game. It's not that expensive of a game.
No, it's really not.
And
I mean,
it's-
other than the sealed Super Nintendo, it's not. I mean, the prices are pretty good across the board.
Yep, I agree, and it's definitely worth it if you ask me. But I'm a little slanted on it. So speed running was interesting. There are so many different ways to speed run this game. There are different platforms.
Pages.
Yeah, well, it's not 5 pages. It's I think it's 10 lines total here. But there's arcade and variants of the arcade, SNES, Genesis, and Saturn, right? And before I get into this, I'm going to say this. I sat down and watched some of these. When you go to speedrun.com, how's the mic over there? Is it okay?
Yeah, I'm just
A little hot.
punching it.
So when you go to speedrun.com, there are links directly to these videos that have been validated and authorized and or authenticated.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you what, they're boring as fuck for this game. They are off because, like, when you watch something like if someone's going to speed run like A Nightmare on Elm Street or Mega Man or some platformer or Zelda, you learn these tricks. You're like, oh, wow, I could do this and cut some time. Or I did this jump that allowed me to go through this brick, and then you like warp through here. Or like Mega Man, you jump in this place, you wind up in this spot, and then you can jump up to the top of the level and all this stuff. In this game, no. This game is literally like, in this game, you have the ability to like jab punch people, right? Like, right?
Yeah.
Without like starting a combo, you can just kind of continuously jab them. That's how you beat them. You go up, the AI will not stop you a lot of the times, and you'll just, and
So you're just watching dipshits low punch their way through the whole game.
you just watch them like rail
light punch or
on
whatever.
somebody for
Yeah.
10 seconds, and then they have these tricks to like, so that's kind of what some of the different versions are, the no coin skip and all exploits and all that. But it was just boring to watch. I was like, oh, this would be cool. I'm going to watch this guy beat this in 2 minutes. It was just him beating, like using human smoke to beat up a guy over and over and over again until the game was over. It was so boring. They were absolutely boring.
Ugh.
So I'll talk a little bit about all the different versions. I'll be quick. In the arcade, there are 4 different speed runs that you can do. Any percentage, which is you can do whatever. Any percentage, no exploits, no coin skip, and standard. All of those except standard, you have to play on like very hard. Standard, I think you play on like easy or whatever it is, or maybe any percentage is easy. That's it.
Just say maybe any, because that seems
Yeah.
to be the quickest.
Well,
Sorry.
you also whatever. So basically, you've got the standard version is you cannot. There's a coin skip. This is such like I don't even want to get into all this honestly. Like I'm gonna kind of start over, but it's kind of hard because it's a little esoteric, right? Standard version is you're just playing the game, right? And you cannot. You can kind of do anything, but there are some exploits that you can't do, right? Then there's this. You know what? I'm not even gonna do this. This is, if anybody's watching, thank you. But I'm going to tell you, this is too hard to explain without having it right in front of me what the differences are.
How about we go like this?
So I'm just
Speed
gonna,
running on the arcade was.
yeah, that's what I'm going to say. So I'm just going to talk about the fastest ways that these games got beat. Okay. So on the arcade, I'm going to start all over. Okay. So let's move on to talk about speed running. Okay. I'm going to talk about the fastest ways that each of these games were beat on a platform, be it arcade, SNES, Genesis, or Saturn. And there are different variants of the speed run. So you can go to speedrun.com and see all of them. And there are different rules for each one, but it gets a little in the weeds, and I don't think anybody really wants to hear all that. So in the arcade, you can the fastest run is the any percent run, where you can basically do anything, any exploits, everything's fine. It was completed by a speedrunner named Speed with 2 underscores at the end of his name, and he, I believe, was from Brazil. So I watched his videos; they were all in Brazil, like in Portuguese,
Yeah.
and it was just like, I don't know no Portuguese. So anyway, but he beat it with a combination of Smoke and Human Smoke, because one of the things we haven't talked about is the characters of the game. You play as Robot Smoke inherently, but you can hold down a specific set of buttons and D-pad direction.
Yeah.
I think it's back, high punch, high kick, block, and run. As the game goes from the character select screen to the start of the fight, and Robot Smoke will morph into Human Smoke.
Yeah.
So he would choose to do that at a specific time and use Human Smoke when necessary. But ultimately, I mean, once that point forward, you've changed, you're him, but you know what I mean. He beat the game in 2 minutes and 59 seconds on the arcade. 3 minutes. And I watched it and I thought, this can't be that bad. It was boring as fuck. He beat Kitaro, who is the sub-boss, the big bull, right? The Ronnie James Dio of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, by just basically doing his same, like, jumping into his 4-hit combo, the high punch, high kick, high back, high kick combo with Human Smoke. That's why he would morph into him. But otherwise, he was generally using Smoke a lot of times, I think. But it was boring. So SNES, there's a soundless run, which I think it just removes the sounds, like the flawless victory. And with things that slow the game down, you can play it without the sounds. Yeah. And it does a runner named Inarik, Inarik, beat it with Noob Saibot, which you can only play on the SNES. Like, you can't play on the arcade ASM. 5 minutes and 50 seconds. So Sega Genesis, Behemoth 87 beat it as Nightwolf, 7 minutes and 27 seconds. My guy, the one and only Nightwolf extraordinaire, Mr. Worldwide. There goes the front of the VHS tape. Mortal Kombat. Dun, 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 dun. And then Sega Saturn, the fastest, was completed on an emulator by a runner named Parallax MK Chile. He has done a number of runs. And he is like a leading speedrunner in a number of other of the things that are on this list. But he kind of showed up in everywhere. A lot of these guys, Speed _ Parallax MK Chile, a couple of these guys are kind of on all of them.
Yeah.
And he beat it in 11 minutes and 6 seconds with the combination of Robot Smoke and Human Smoke. And again, all that info comes from speedrun.com. So you know what I got to say about that?
I already threw mine. Kobe.
So that's pretty much it.
Good.
I mean, we can talk. I've got a list here. There's a couple things we can talk about before we wrap up, so I take that back.
So I got like 6 pages left still.
Yeah, I know, but it's really just a list.
So much.
So I talked about we talked a little bit about the characters in the game, right? And who's in it, and you can unlock characters and all that kind of stuff. It really, you want to know that?
Sit down and buckle up.
No.
'Cause this shit's confusing.
I think that, no, I'm not going to even get into it because it's just too much. I'm not going to sit here and name characters from the game. Okay. The thing I will say is this. You cannot play as Rain, but there is a ROM hack now where you can play as Rain in the arcade mode or the arcade version.
Oh, really?
And you cannot play as Noob Saibot unless you're playing against a human opponent. So Noob Saibot's hidden character, who's only partially available. He's not permanent. You can only be him if you are playing against somebody, choose Kano, and then again do a button press and directional pad. Human Smoke we already talked about. You can unlock Classic Sub-Zero, Ermac, Molina. They're unlockables. Permanent. Once you unlock them, they're there until some smart-ass arcade operator comes in and goes, clear the unlockables. You can go into the ROM and say, get those guys back out of there. And then the part kind of what Robbie was talking about was there's no Baraka, there's no Johnny Cage, there's no Raiden. We talked a little bit about why. Yeah. Originally there was no Scorpion, so those were the ones that were missing. And I do think that without the revision to, let me just kind of soapbox for a minute. Without the revision from the original Mortal Kombat 3 to what I perceive as the completed version, the Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. that game would have been inherently much worse, especially as time went on. You would not have those people. You're not going to have Scorpion in the game, really. In a Mortal Kombat game, there's no Scorpion. Come on. So, I think ultimately the decision to do it the way they did was not great, but to do it was right. Yeah. So I'm glad they did. So that's it. That's the end of the info. So yeah, let's take that and
Rhea. Kobe.
Bill Cartwright.
Bill Cartwright.
Lambier.
Luke Walton.
Lambier for 3. All right.
We can check our before we get off here. We should probably check our
give us
our
a
chat.
chat update. What we got?
So Matt popped in a little bit. Aw, look at him. He's a sweetheart. He said thanks, or he said that's like saying Kroger's or Myers. It just happens. He's talking about when.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I just wanted to be a pedantic smartass, really.
Yeah, well.
It's right in front of you. There's no D in the word. You're looking at the word and you still said it.
You know what? Maybe we should do a draft for this. Maybe I should go and do. Maybe it should be the Matty Ice and Jay podcast, and it can be the Marky Mark and.
I think you know full well that it would be the Marky Mark and Jay podcast and the Matty Ice and Mikey P podcast. You know that.
I bet Matt would like doing the podcast with me better.
I don't know if he would.
He would.
Matt, if you're listening, call back in and tell us.
Oh, call him. Pick it up.
No,
call him.
I'm not going to call him. That's
Then looks like my dude Deegan got on, so he's a little late. He said can't wait for the podcast.
What's up, Deeg?
So
Jay's boy.
Speaking of which, I do need to give a shout out to my buddy Belt Buckle Jones as well.
The one and only.
The one and only. So
Black Belt Jones?
No, Belt Buckle Jones.
Oh, Black Belt would have been better.
Old friend used to wear real big, like Southwest style, like.
Had his name on it, or like an engraving of Texas on it.
No, he just find like old big belt buckles, like rodeo belt buckles, and wear them. So we call him Belt Buckle Jones.
I imagine those are not cheap nowadays.
It's my dude out in Vassar, Michigan.
What's up?
Biggest little city in Michigan. No, I don't know. I'm making it up now.
I've had enough of your Vassar bashing.
My Vassar bashing.
Anyway,
so Deegan lives by Vassar, actually. Or his mom lives by Vassar, I should say. So. Out in the middle of nowhere.
I'm going to talk a little bit about the next game we're going to play and who we expect to be on the show. So,
drum roll, please.
The next game we're going to do will be Ninja Gaiden 3. I think it's Ancient Pirate Ship of Doom or whatever the tagline is for Ninja Gaiden 3 on the NES.
I don't know, but I'm pretty excited.
But Ninja Gaiden 3 is the favorite game of a fellow podcaster and friend, Tyler, from the Collector's Quest podcast.
Great podcast. All the guys on that are great.
Absolutely. I can't wait to talk to him about all the information I stole from that podcast. No, I'm kidding. No, Tyler's great, and him and Johnny and Stefan all do a fantastic job, and I love their show. And he and I have been talking, and he was interested in coming on, wanted to discuss what game we would do, and I said, well, we have to do your favorite game. He loves Ocarina of Time, and he loves...
That'd be a long episode.
Ninja Gaiden 3. I was like, I ain't doing no trash-ass Nintendo 64 game, which is a garbage console for garbage people.
Wow.
Am I wrong?
No.
I actually stole that from Johnny on Collector's Quest podcast, but I agree with him. I've been saying it myself for 25 years, too.
Johnny's a smart fella.
He knows he knows his score. But anyway, so yeah, Tyler's going to be joining us. I believe we'll probably do it in 2 weeks. And is that right?
Yes.
So,
and we're going to do Thursdays now.
Yep, we're going to start trying to do Thursdays right around 9, 10 o'clock. Yeah. We'll get it posted. I'll try to put it on the social media. Tyler is Default Gen on Instagram. Default GEN. And yeah.
Got a really good site. So if you get a chance, check him out.
An amazing collection.
Yes.
And just a good guy. So looking forward to having him on. And that's it. So why don't you give us the deets on the
deets. So
tell the people that are listening to the show how to find the show.
All right. Actually, real quick, just to thank you again. So if you guys get a chance, check them out on Instagram as well. 8-Bit Supremacy is Robbie. Great guy. Thanks for coming on. I'm forgetting John. Oh my God. Why can't I think
John
of
Young, Retro Game Enthusiast?
Yeah, Retro Game Enthusiast. Good Lord. I couldn't think of his tag on Instagram.
Why don't we do this?
What?
Nobody's watching. right?
Oh,
I mean, there's people watching.
Yeah.
I say we restart this and we thank all of our special guests. So let's just kick it in and go. So Jay, why don't you wrap us up?
All right. Real quick, though, I want to thank all of our guests that we had on tonight. So 8-Bit Supremacy.
Robbie.
Yep.
Retro Game Enthusiast.
Which is John.
Correct.
So these are these are their Instagram tags.
Yep.
So if you guys get a chance, check them out. We got, of course, Matt Mace from Matty Ice and Marky Mark.
I believe he is Matthew.Mace on Instagram, but he's also Matty Ice and Marky Mark podcast.
Yeah, if you guys get a chance, check them out.
So thank you all for calling in. Actually, it's probably been one of my favorite shows ever because I just love interacting with my friends and I love getting a chance to talk about the things that we all love mutually together.
And thanks for everybody else that actually listened in. So this is one of our biggest groups we've had. So
thanks to Mattio and Def Code and everybody that was on. Who
we didn't even have Mattio
Deegan. He could have.
We'll have Matt.
He's got my number.
Mattio
He's going to be on the show. We've already talked about that, and I think we know what the show he'll be doing. But we'll get to that after we talk to Tyler.
So
let's not, let's give Tyler his time to shine.
We're gonna stick to Thursday.
He rarely has time to talk on the internet, and this is it.
Who, Tyler?
Yeah.
Okay.
Our show is almost as long as theirs this time.
Oh yeah.
So
and we had like 17 guests that were impromptu, which is awesome.
It was great.
So, social media, Instagram and the Twitter, Lost Joystick. And Facebook and Twitch is Lost Joystick Network. Email is info@lostjoysticknetwork.com. And that's if you have a Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 cab you're looking to offload.
That is true. If you do, please
send an email. Send some pictures on it.
Platform agnostic on Instagram. Send me a message. I'm in the market. So with that, sir, I propose that we go out there, have fun, be safe, and be excellent to each other. Smile you later.
All right, homies, we got nothing cool. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight.
How many people are on?
I don't know.
If you're still here, say hi.
Says we
call
got
into
four,
the show.
Says we still got 4 viewers.
We can still talk.
Call into the show. Don't call into the show. Good Lord.
Let's see, Deegan, Matty Ice, already talked to him. Who's this? Oh, Def Code's still on.
Oh, hey.
Yeah. Feel free to give us a call on Discord. I'm on Discord inputs. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, bud. We're out of here. So have a great night.
If he's on the couple weeks with Tyler, we got to.
Oh no,
he's got to hop.
We got to talk about Zelda with him. I mean, the guy is like limit. Like when I very first got back into collecting, I was trying to get a first print Zelda for NES, and I actually got it at the perfect time because now it's super expensive. And there's a variant of the manual.
I guess I don't need these on it.
Yeah, there's a variant of the manual that there's a difference in how it's worded.
Yeah.
But they're still considered. They would still be fine to be packed in with the original print of the game. And I was concerned I had the wrong one. He said, no, both are acceptable. But the work that he's done and the spreadsheets and all the information that I've leveraged from then the old Nintendo forums. Well, I can't remember the name, but all of a sudden that they closed down, and then now video game stage. It's just like it's amazing. So great work, bud. Thank you so much.
So Zelda, we got to have him on for Zelda. Zelda or Zelda 2?
I already did Zelda, but I'll do it again. I don't care.
How about Zelda 2? Is he down? Are you down with Zelda 2? If you're still on,
I think he loves everything Zelda, but
I'm not. I'd definitely be down to do Zelda 2.
So
I love Zelda 2.
Fine. I have one of those too. You can tell me what one it is.
All right.
Anyway, all right. We're out of here. Thank you. Wait,
Zelda 2 is good.
Zelda 2 is good.
Zelda 2, we're doing it.
We'll do it.
We'll make it happen.
I already know
we'll
you're
have
on
our
Discord.
people call your people.
Yes. Well, by our people, you mean me, and by his people, you mean him.
Yeah, and Mike will be calling you.
It's a person-to-person call.
Yes.
That's a joke for old people, by the way, which he's not.
Probably Wind Waker is my favorite.
I have never played Wind Waker. Wind Waker was the black sheep when it came out.
We have to talk about that. Maybe
The GameCube, right? That's the GameCube one. The cell-shaded graphics and all that, right?
I think so.
Like, yeah, I'm...
Really, whatever. Okay.
All right. Very good. We can talk about Breath of the Wild. That's not retro, but holy crap. I played that game a lot.
No.
All right. What's this here? Really? What are you? All right. Well, we're out of here, bud. Have a good night.
All right,
Thank
thanks,
you so
guys.
much. I'll be in touch.